Get 'em, Jimmy, where Loshak at? The bottle's getting empty up the crack and we stacking chips, all of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated public sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced, leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call it truth. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
Okay, we're live. Hi, welcome to Pub Sports Radio. He's Jimmy the Bag. My name is Peter Loshak. Today is Tuesday, February 21st. Interesting time of the year. I pretty much love most times of the year as far as sports betting is concerned. We're going to cover NHL today. We're going to cover college basketball today. No NBA, and NHL is going to be fun because we got 9 games. And you know what I like, Jimmy the Bag. We got not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. But 5, count them, 5 massive favorites in the NHL. You know, if it were up to me, I would parlay all of them for one bet and then make a huge bet on the biggest favorite automatically, which would be Tampa Bay for the other one.
Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. Huh?
And we got one, count them, one asshole on the 1s and 2s behind. No, just kidding around. We love Jose Bouquet. That's very funny for brand new viewers. That is the video that Jose plays anytime that I mention my affinity for huge favorites, which at first I didn't quite get because I think he's saying I love juice, but Kool-Aid isn't juice. But now I get it. Now I get it. Jimmy the Bag, how are things going with you? Oh, and then we also have college basketball. Dabby Gab, it's going to be awesome. I'm only half prepped for college basketball. You know, college basketball is so huge. I do a lot of halftime stuff. I do a lot of stuff like right before tip-off. And but I do have some things that I'm looking at. Haven't pulled the trigger on anything yet, but we're going to have Dabby Cab. It's going to be great. And, of course, we have the comment section, and we'll probably have a much bigger comment section coming on in a few seconds after I tweet out the link to this video in Twitter, which I'm going to do right now while I listen to you talk about how you're doing, Jimmy the Bag.
Well, I'm very happy to be here with you guys. It's been a strange couple weeks, and this is home right here.
Yes,
with
exactly.
Shout out to all the cappers joining us: Sean Sullivan, Bob Taylor, Jimmy Gomez. Jimmy Go says, "Good morning, fellas. Already loaded is my official Lightning -1.5, -115. I imagine that's got to be first period action. So I guess he's got Lightning -0.5, -115, Canes -0.5, -102, Wild money line -126, Oilers first period -0.5, a +105, and Oilers a puck line." I spent a lot of time on this NHL card, and I was staring heavy at those big dogs, heavy.
Mm-hmm.
St. Louis first period and the team total over, and
because you know one of them's got to win, right, Jim? One of them's got to win, and it's our job to figure out which.
Well,
or not.
At the end of it all, and we'll break them down heavy, I was like, you know what? There's no reason for me to move on a big dog early unless the market's moving towards them, which is rare. You know, these favorites become bigger and bigger favorites as the day goes on. I did, though, move on one dog, the Detroit Red Wings. I moved on the Detroit Red Wings. Ovechkin's not back yet. He's going to be back.
That's huge. That's a huge factor. He's definitely not, because there was reports that he would be or could be.
I thought he was going to be back for this game, but I'm ready to fade them when he's back, I think.
Right.
I just don't believe in the Capitals. I've been saying it all year. I spent a lot of time last night just going over all my futures action. I've got more. This makes me uncomfortable. I've got so much action in NHL futures, but Capitals under 94.5 points, cap at -115, and the Capitals not to make the playoffs at +120. I feel very, very good about. Nice to hear your action, Jimmy Gomez. Sean Sullivan, Preds, and then the Leafs over 6.5. Red Wings money line. There's Justin McElvey in the house. Great to see you, Justin. Respect. Sean Sullivan also looking at Kings money line and Miami, Virginia Tech over 51.5. Billy Friedrich finished 70 cents in the black yesterday. Hey, any day in the black is a good day, right? It's a good day. Real Deal Prime in the house says, take the home dog, get the value in your pockets tonight. Take the Buffalo Sabres. I can't wait to talk out the Leafs Sabres game as well. North Ender ready to get to work. Dan Kelly says, how about the way the Wiz to make the playoffs line moved when no games are played? You can still get plus 184 at FanDuel. What did you get, Dan? Because I was looking at that as well. What was it when you brought it to our attention? Because, Pete, I think you have an idea of how bad of an NBA season I've had. I did finish 5-0 on the last 2 days of the week before the All-Star break, which gave me a little bit of confidence. Thank God we don't need to worry about it right now until Thursday. Thursday, we have NBA back in action. There's Jacqueline, Shogun, Soup, Clint Star, the Die Hard MMA podcast, UFC Vegas, Alan Perez at plus 125, a 2-unit play for Clint. Viper NB, Alfred. And Dan Kelly says Pete's favorite sports betting season, women's curling season. Have you been following Dennis Garcia's curling action?
No, I'm sure he's killing it, though.
He's very strong.
On Twitter, you mean?
Yes, on Twitter, yes. Lucas Ryan in the house, ready to get to work. Nasty Nate, Lamont Williams, Slats. He says, let's navigate these huge NHL lines. RVD 420, Tay Butta, Jerbacca, ready to get to work. Leonard Porsche Jr., Danny Lopez, DJ Big Boss. We got DJ Big Boss in the house. We have huge news here for Pubba Palooza. Our guy, our beloved DJ Big Boss, has booked his flights to Pubba Palooza to DJ Big Boss and Wham Bam. Will be arriving out of the Long Beach airport and we'll be rolling with us. Pubba Palooza. Can you believe that we're gonna have all of us together and you included?
Hell yeah! All right, that seals the deal for me. One way or another, Jimmy the Bag. I'm gonna find my way down there. It shouldn't be a big deal. But I haven't bought my tickets yet. But now I'm gonna huge shout out to DJ Big Boss. What a guy. What a great guy. Yeah, just love you, DJ Big Boss. Funny as hell. Awesome human being. Can't wait to see you again, DJ Big Boss. Shout out to you.
Yeah, DJ Big Boss, Big Ragu also got his flights booked. Yeah, man. Exciting stuff. Very, very exciting stuff. Pubba Palooza is now, 5 weeks away? 6 weeks away? Five or 5 weeks
And once again, there's no one hotel where everyone's staying, so you just stay wherever you want, right?
Well, yeah, right now we're focusing on we're negotiating with some hotels right now. The hotel rooms are way more expensive than they were last year. We didn't think that would be the case, so we are focusing mostly on Airbnbs and those places. So I know that Nasty Nate has one hooked up for him and Davy Cab and the boys. We're working on getting another one really close to Southtown 101. And DJ Big Boss says San Antonio is an Airbnb town. So the hotels are way more expensive than we had initially thought. Mr. Gokster's got a great spot really close to the 101 for Airbnbs as well.
All right. So then I'll hold off and wait to see if there winds up being a hotel where everyone's staying, right?
At this point, we'll know if there is one here very soon. Lucas says he'll pick you up in a rickshaw if he has to. He's
shout out to Lucas Ryan and shout out to Nutflush. Man, Nutflush Allen. Nutflush Allen is a little next level right now with these friggin' plus money NHL. Not that he wasn't before. Shout out to Nutflush Allen.
Yeah, I did get a sneak peek at the Pubba Palooza 1 movie. There was a movie shot from last night. It's all kind of moving its way together, and it's really fun. And Nutflush and Mama Nutflush are two of the stars of that, and it was really fun to watch. That will be coming out. We're not entirely sure how we are going to deliver that to everybody. We're debating it right now, but it's going to start. We're going to start sneaking it out. And Pubba Palooza 2, we're going to be filming everything.
Nice. All right. Well, then that means that look at my face right now. Can you imagine what I could do with this, Jimmy the Bag? I could do some fucking sick shit with this. Look what I got here. I'm going to go to the fucking best barbershop I know here in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. I'm just going to say, give me the works. I don't care how much it costs. I'm going to show up to Pubba Palooza looking fucking sick.
Lucas Ryan says, if anyone wants to split a nice big Airbnb, holler at me, please. DJ Big Boss just got an Airbnb, 5-minute walk to Southtown 101. And I know that Mr. Gokster, talk to Gokster as well. He's going to the same spot he had last year, which is Airbnb very, very close to the Southtown 101. Let's get to work let's get to work. We have a lot of work to do here
Yeah.
today, and I know that I don't need to worry about the sports insights. We're not going to pull it up for NHL, but I've got to find my old password. It's gone, so I'll be doing that as we go. I'll need it ready for college basketball, but I'm ready to attack this NHL card pistol. Pete Loshak, are you ready to get to work?
Yes, I am. Let me just pull up some shit here. I was just having fun for a few minutes. Now we got to get to work. Okay, there's a season for everything in life. Sometimes you make fun. That's from 11 to 11:10 a.m. Eastern time. And then sometimes it's a time for work. And that's the rest of the 2 hours of this show. Give me the bag. Let's do it.
Let's do it, my friend. Shogun Soup says, death, taxes, pub sports, radio. Shogun, you got to run with us. Man, one of the great things about seeing the footage from the way that it's been edited together from last year's Pub Blues, what an incredible group we have, man. It's just money. Dan Kelly says Pete is in his new apartment. Yes. Still the sweet sounds of sirens. I don't miss those. But let's get to work, Pete. Let's attack the board.
I realize the problem is I just got to get the fuck out of New York, man. It's okay. No, I'm not going to get into any negative shit here. No negative shit here. I want to hang out by a lake. New York is great if you're all right, let's go. Let's move on.
Let's get to work, Pete. Let's get into NHL. Let's start with Blues Hurricanes and take it away, my man.
All right, so let me get it. Where are we? Blues Hurricanes. Yeah. Well, supposedly, I remember a few months ago or weeks ago, whatever, in this show, someone identified the Hurricanes as the best team in the NHL, and that person was derided quite a bit. But I don't know, maybe they are. And I saw on one of those sites, Money Puck, I think it was, that they currently are predicted to have the best chance of winning the Stanley Cup out of any team in the NHL by a significant margin, including the Bruins. So Carolina, they're certainly rolling right now. And St. Louis off of 2 blowout losses after 3 straight wins, before that 5 straight losses. But Carolina's off that big outdoors game, right? They won it, low scoring. And I don't know. I'm thinking that one of these huge dogs, I would not, if St. Louis gets up early, probably Carolina live is a good bet, although you might not even still get a good price then. But I was thinking maybe St. Louis first period, or maybe even if you get first 10 minutes or first 2 minutes, or St. Louis early, one way or another. What do you think?
Okay, I'm locked in. I was just a little worried couldn't find my password. Locked in Sports Insights, so we don't need to worry about that anymore. That was my first thought. My first thought was the same. Let's break it down. Also, we'll talk about the goaltending that we have. So I may have mistakes because it's from last night. But we're in PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hurricanes 19-6-2 at home. Blues 13-14-1 on the road. I have Jordan Binnington and Freddie Anderson between the pipes. Our guy Billy Friedrich, watches all these Hurricanes games very closely. He'll let us know if I've got the wrong goaltender in, and if it is Ranta in net. St. Louis 3-7-0 over their past 10, playing at a power play 15.6%, penalty killing 79.3%. One of the things about Carolina, look, they're 9-1-0, 28% power play, 88.9% penalty killing. Rod the Bod is a hell of a coach, but this goaltending tandem has never shown up in important hockey games in the histories of both their careers. So whether it's Freddie Anderson or Ranta, for them to succeed in the playoffs, they would have to do something that they've never done before. Not saying that they can't do it, but they've never done it. And Freddie Anderson got run out of Toronto because he wasn't able to win the big game. LJ from H-Town says 15 out of the last 20 Blues games have gone over. Blues coming off their second straight loss, 7-2 at Ottawa on Sunday. They've been outscored 11-3 over those 2 games. Let's take a look at the line history here so we just know exactly where we stand for Blues Hurricanes. My whole plan was to be on the Blues, but I knew that there was no rush. This opened up at minus 325 on Carolina. It's now minus 341. Totals wise, this opened up at 6.5 and is now at 6, and it's just slightly juiced to the over at 6. It's interesting with LJ's angle there is with all the games going over for the Blues that this total would be dropping. With O'Reilly traded to the Leafs, Tarasenko to the Rangers, injuries to 3 left wingers, and Pavel Buchnevich, Brandon Saad, and Jake Neighbors. All of a sudden, this forward group lacks depth. And Buchnevich is a huge loss. 16 goals, 27 assists, 43 points in 42 games. He also leads the team in plus minus. For the Blues fans out there, and I know Lucas Ryan being one of them, I would not build a team around Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas. I wouldn't. Kyrou, 8 years for $65 million and a no trade clause. Enjoy watching him. He's soft. He doesn't go into the dirty areas. He's not accountable defensively. I feel pity. I actually have compassion for fan bases that have to watch soft, small forwards on huge contracts that aren't hard to play every second night. Robert Thomas is a little more accountable. He's a little tougher to get off the puck, and he is going to need his big contract here in a second. He's a restricted free agent. I don't like what the Blues. I don't like the Blues makeup. I think that we're gonna get in a little downturn for them over the next few years. I don't think they're gonna be very good. Hurricanes coming off their third straight win, 4-1 at home over the Capitals on Saturday night. This is a deep hockey team that will be tough to knock out in the playoffs. It's the evolution of Necas. Martin Necas, 12th overall pick in 2017. He's been so key. He takes the pressure off Sebastian Aho, and now you have a very strong second line with Kotkaniemi and Teuvo Teravainen. Necas is signed for $3 million in 23-24, and then he's a restricted free agent. What a huge... I mean, having a player like that at $3 million, your leading scorer at $3 million a year gives you such a huge advantage. They have 3 players on the injury report: Andre Cache, Max Pacioretty, and Jake Gardner, those 3 careers are likely over. Well, we won't see any of those guys in the NHL anymore. With all that being said, I'd love to take a stab at the Blues first period, but am I just throwing darts here? Really? Like, do I really think... Like, I'm going to cut it down to 20 minutes to give it the least amount of time in the game.
I'd rather cut it down to like a minute and a half if the books will offer me that. First 30 seconds, St. Louis Blues at plus 105.
And Lee Davis saying Wings just went from plus 127 to plus 143 on Penny. I don't like hearing that. I can't do it. I can't do it. I think that this team is going to be capable of scoring goals, but that's about it. And you're playing the Hurricanes, who are very difficult to, break through on. And I did my whole plan. I was the same with you with this big dog. It's like they are too big of a dog. I don't want Hurricanes under any circumstances. And then I can't take the Blues plus a half. I'm not going to pay any vig for any kind of Blues bet. And so my only option would be to take St. Louis first period. And yeah, I don't mind it. That's the only bet that appeals to me in this hockey game is St. Louis first period. And then I guess, if this total is at 6, why wouldn't we want to try and sneak over it? And that's about it.
Yeah, my thought was over as well. First of all, I can't not do it, so I'm going to do it. St. Louis Blues first period money line plus 203. That's the current line at Pinnacle. We'll be praying for a push, and if it's a push, then I lose nothing.
I get it. I completely get it. And if I have 4 bets, I don't feel like I need to pull the trigger, but I just felt like I was kind of reaching a little bit. I mean, sure. Let me tell you, I like the Blues first period probably better than the Habs first period by the slightest of margins. And I definitely like it better than Anaheim first period, but let's keep rolling, my man. Manitoba Slim says, been doing well, road puck lines, but Kane's too much for me here. LJ from H-Town says, be careful, Carolina only 8-17 against the spread at home. I like what you're doing. If the line keeps moving towards the Hurricanes, I can understand why you'd want to take a shot. The Blues have looked very bad. I mean, that 7-2 loss at Ottawa on Sunday, you have to think that Bruby's all over them. So I can understand the look. If I was just giving out a pick here that was just about my record, I would like to have the Blues first period. But I sat there for 2-3 hours staring at this. I was like, can I really bet on this shit Blues hockey team? Because that's what they are now. They have no depth at forward. And look, I love Colton Parayko very much, but I'm off this one at this point.
Okay. I was thinking over too, but as a secondary thought. But it's weird that it's moved down.
It is. I'm happy to not be involved.
Okay, next game on the card. Which one would you like, Jim?
And Real Deal Prime says Blues waving the white flag. Well, let's keep rolling here. I sent in the schedule. I should send it to you, but it's on our description page. But next up for us is Habs Devils.
Okay, Habs and the Devils. Here are my thoughts on this one, Jimmy the Bag. Montreal, 2 big losses on their current trip. They do seem to regularly get blown out on the road. You know what I mean, Jimmy the Bag? Some of these road teams tend to actually have value on the road. Like, I can't think of any teams right now, but in all sports, there's some teams that wilt on the road and some teams that are competitive and actually have value on the road. Montreal seems to regularly get blown, not every time out, but very susceptible to getting just absolutely demolished on the road. New Jersey is New Jersey. They beat Winnipeg last game. They're 13-4. Their last 17. Is it maybe a little bit of a letdown for New Jersey? Possible. But again, is there any reason to expect an unexpected good performance from Montreal on here? Maybe they are a bit rested. I mean, New Jersey's just crushed Montreal recently. But again, I'm thinking maybe Montreal first period. They're a little bit more rested. New Jersey just a little bit maybe more fatigued than Montreal, going up against a team where they know they're a huge favorite. They've won 13 out of their last 20 or whatever. Maybe a little bit of a letdown mentally, physically for New Jersey, especially first period. Maybe Montreal first period. That's what I'm thinking, Jim.
I was thinking Montreal first period, and again, the team total over. I'd love it if they were even bigger dogs, so you could get the team total over to it at a decent price. Slatzy says Kirby Dach now out and Wi-Fi on defense. Jack Hughes rolls tonight. Jersey 10-1-1 versus the Habs. This was the same spot where after sitting there for a couple hours last night, Pete, I was like, I just can't bet it. I just
can't.
You talked about the Habs on the road.
Oh, they're
off.
Habs
are also completely decimated on the injury front. I mean, it's horrific what they're going through right now. It's the worst of any team in the league. You have Joel Edmondson, important defenseman. Kirby Dach, sick now. So that was an addition. You have Chris Weidman. You have Caden Goulet. You have the Wi-Fi. So now you have 4. Those are 4 defensemen out just right there, let alone, the number 1 overall pick, Slavkovsky, Brendan Gallagher, Jake Evans, Cole Caulfield, Sean Monahan, Paul Byron. I mean, it's just – and so the Habs coming off their second straight loss, 5-1 at Toronto on Saturday. So it's so similar to what we're seeing with the Blues. It's such a similar situation. So do you expect them to bounce back? And if so, what in the shortest amount of time possible? They have called up their 2019 7th-round pick, Rafi Harvey Pinard, and they put him on the top line with Suzuki and Anderson. He has 8 goals in 16 career games. He has 7 goals in 12 career games. Only 7 players drafted in the 5th, 6th, and 7th round of the 2019 draft have even played a game in the NHL. I wonder if he's, an Alex Burrows type sniper that they kind of find very late in the draft. Of course, Alex Burrows wasn't drafted. The Habs are just decimated with injuries. I mean, at the point where I'm like, I need to cut it down to the first period. The first period's too long. I need to cut down. What am I doing? The Devils coming off their second straight win, 4-2 at home over the Jets. Jack Hughes returned from injury for the last 2 games. He's having a monster season, 35 goals, 34 assists, 69 points, 52 games. If he can stay healthy, and that's a big if, right? That's a huge if with his toddler shoulders, but he will be the highest scoring American player in history, I believe. If he can stay healthy, this guy has everything. Now it's Mikey Modano has the record at 1374, but Patrick Kane should end up with the record. I expect Patrick Kane will be his record to break. But I mean, this is just the Devils are no bet, and there's no way I'm taking the Devils at this price. So I just, I don't find it appealing.
Yeah, everyone's warning me off of Montreal first period. But, I mean, I know they're decimated, but they're still NHL players, right, Jim? Steve G says Montreal has way too many injuries. Yeah, we're not betting them full game. We're not betting them to win, more than 1 game out of their next 10. But it's a first period bet, right?
Yes, and I had the Habs of first period. Let's just go. Big shout out to Jonathan Yim. Our guy says, San Antonio Drink Fund, enjoy. Much love to Jonathan Yim. What a great guy, a great capper. Thank you for thinking of us. We need you to come through. But let's go back to this Montreal spot. I had them first period, Pete. I had them first period on, I believe it was, let's just look, when was it? It was against Carolina. was against Carolina, so I think it was got to be Thursday. And they scored 3 minutes and 24 seconds into the game. Not only that, Pete, I had them first period plus a half. And I lost the first period.
Let me ask you something, Jimmy the Bag. If they're so bad, how did they run 3 straight wins before these last 2 losses against Chicago, Edmonton, Islanders? Chicago was bad, of course. They were a favorite. Huge dog against Edmonton, huge dog against Islanders. They won all 3 of those games. And then the game before that, again, that's all at home. I understand that. But they have the players to get all that done, right?
Well, when you're talking about a team like the Habs that are dealing with the amount of injuries they have, now one more injury, Joel Edmondson, Wi-Fi. You take the toughness off the team because Wi-Fi will fight anybody in the NHL. Look at this defensive group now. Your number one defensive group is David Savard and Jordan Harris. Michael Matheson and Justin Barron is the second unit. I mean, Corey Schooneman and Jonathan Kovacevic is your third unit. I mean, that's the worst 6 defensemen that are going to be playing as a group in the NHL this season. Those are the worst 6 defensemen on any team going in the entire season on one night. Look, I can't do it. But I get it. I get it from what you're looking at. Like you're looking at if you're getting what are you getting on first period for the Habs here?
Yeah, you know what? I understand that everyone's warning me off it, but it's just I'm going to take it plus 206. I'm going to take Montreal. I know everyone's saying no, Pete, don't. We're just talking first period. First period plus 206. I'll take it. I'll take that one, Jim.
Yeah, no, I like that you're doing it. I get it. I thought about it for hours. It comes down to a point for me where these games mean a lot to me. I watch them and I care about them. And like a plus 206 right now, you're saying that there's a 32.68% chance that the Habs are up after the first period. I get it. I get the risk reward. I get it.
All right, we'll see how it goes. I understand everyone's Montreal's a terrible team. I hear you.
Loshak is on the Habs first period at plus 206. Habs first period plus 206. All right, let's roll on. Next up, Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida. Ducks, Lightning.
Oh, here we go. My only note for this one is actually no idea. I mean, Anaheim, of course, on a back-to-back, lost as Florida as a huge dog in OT. And overall, they have been competitive as a huge dog on the road. Not like far from Montreal. They've gotten some wins. They've gotten some close losses. Last night, perfect example. The Tampa Bay returning from the West Coast trip, lost the last 2 of that trip. And Tampa Bay, they can be beat, right? They're only 6-6 in their last 12. They're obviously way better, but minus 527. I don't know. Is Anaheim, after the OT loss in Florida, are they just going to not show up for this one, or are they going to try to fight at least a little bit to start? Because I'm also thinking Anaheim first period here. Why not?
Yeah, I went through the same thing with these first 3 games. And I know everybody talks bad about John Gibson, but I need him between the pipes if I'm betting the Ducks. I cannot have Lucas Dostal in between the pipes. I just can't. And you have Tampa coming off their second straight loss, 5-4 at Vegas on Saturday night. I know we all want to back the Lightning off of a loss, but you're in Vegas at the end of a road trip on Saturday night. I mean, obviously they went out and enjoyed themselves. It's probably every coach's worst nightmare to finish off a road trip on a Saturday night in Vegas. But the Ducks have lost 5 straight and have allowed 30 goals over those 5 games. We've already heard Lamont Williams, whom we love and respect enormously, give his best bet as the Lightning team total over. There's just Anaheim played really good. I've been saying for weeks that Anaheim has value. They played really well at Florida last night. They played really well. And I love Mason McTavish. And I think that their power play, I think they're going to be a great team to bet on first periods because that McTavish Zegras power play unit should be good, should get you goals, should win you first periods with them at big prices. But here, the Lightning off of if the Ducks hadn't have played so well last night, I'd find them more appealing. But after an overtime game against Florida and going up against the Lightning, who've lost 2 straight. LJ says since November, Lightning are 5-0 with the puck line after 2-game losing streak. All 5 wins have been home games. So.
Yeah, no, and Mike M doesn't like it either. Ducks just broke a 5-game first period losing streak. Tampa Bay off 2 losses and won 4 in a row at home in the first period. Tampa Bay going to start quick.
And another thing here is probably the best angle for this game is Slatty. Mike M says Ducks just broke a 5-game first period losing streak. Tampa Bay off 2 losses and has won 4 in a row at home first period. Tampa Bay can start goal. You just mentioned that. Sorry, Slatty says yesterday he went 3-3 on Panthers shots on goal props. The Ducks allowed more shots than any team in the league, and I know a lot of you guys attack that angle. And it's a back-to-back. Are they going to have legs in the third period? So Markel says, fuck it, I'm on Tampa team total over 4.5. North Ender says you would have to take Tampa -2. I did type that in and look at what that price was. I looked at all these 3 games. I had expected to move on these first 3 games. And I was thinking initially, just like you with the Dogs. And then I was like, look, I just can't bet on these hockey teams right now. So
yeah, I hear you. This one I think I'm going to pass. Yeah, I agree. The back-to-back, the loss at Florida, that's a little tough. I have no idea about this one. That's my only note on it. I'm going to pass.
I think they're going to be goals. I think there's going to be goals with Dostal in net. The question is, are you going to get enough out of Anaheim?
Yeah. Like Barry Smythe likes Bolts 5-2. I mean, that makes a lot of sense,
Yeah, Barry, I'd like to know, is it Smythe or Smith? Because I've been calling you Barry Smith for years, and it's so annoying when you have somebody that you're watching that's mispronouncing your name. Could you let us know?
I think the Gaelic pronunciation is Smythe.
Oh, yes. Well, I remember I was a big fan of the Smythe division in NHL, but I'd like to hear that too. I'm off of this spot. Jimmy Gomez says 2012 in the NHL, all teams with 0 days rest in a line of 390 or more are 0-4 in the puck line and 0-4 in the first period.
Yeah, Nutflush out says, Pete, I hope you scroll up and see my Devils comment. I already saw it, Nutflush. He said Devils team total under. He's thinking about it, plus money, which is interesting.
Wow. I guess that's all I can say.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to pass on this one, huh?
I thought that maybe after talking about these spots and that maybe I would jump in, but I just Barry Susanna sucks to me.
And Jimmy Gomez with a great comment. Did you read that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Let's move on because I got 2 bets on this Red Wings Caps game. So
thank you, Jimmy Gomez, for that one. Yeah. All right, next one, Red Wings Caps.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. I don't really like Washington either. But looking at this, it just reading the comments from the news reports and stuff, it feels like a Washington spot. It feels like Washington is desperate. And Detroit, last game for a trip with a few days off. I was wondering if Ovechkin will be back. Now he's not back. And again, as you said, maybe that's good as far as a bet is concerned. When he comes back, maybe it'll be an even better fade. Washington's just not a good team. 4 in a row, losing more than they're winning over the past 20 games or so. But it definitely feels like a desperation spot for Washington, just based on everything I was reading. So I was thinking about maybe pulling the trigger on Washington, but definitely want to hear what you guys had to say about all this. They feel desperate, and that can be a good thing to bet into sometimes. I'm leaning Washington.
Yeah. My first thought was, God, this is a desperate Caps team. And then I remembered how bad I think they are. I just think they're a bad hockey team. And why wouldn't Detroit come in here desperate? My first thought here looking at this was, got to be a capital spot. And then I capped it, and I was like, no, I do not trust this Washington Capitals hockey team. And I would prefer to bet them. Now, there's been a big move towards Washington and Pinnacle. So a big move here. So we have they opened up at plus 133. They were down to plus 128 hour and 11 minutes ago. There was just a 14-cent move towards the Capitals. Well, really 16 towards the Capitals, 14 the other way. But at 11:08 a.m. So a big move toward. But look, I don't care. But let's talk about the total here. Let's talk about the total. And look, this isn't one of the things so this is total is at 6. It was a minus 112 to the over. Now it's minus 109 to the over. I'm not sitting here extremely confident on this look that I have. I've got the Red Wings plus 135, and I have the team total over 3 at plus 114. That's a team total over 2.5 at minus 145, and team total over 3.5 at plus 180. That had gone down when I was moving on it. Lee Davis says, last stop for the 5-game roadie for the Wings. Something stinks here. This is for the way I saw this. They're on a successful road trip, and they lose to the Kraken. If they had to beat the Kraken, there'd be no way I would be on Detroit Red Wings. And I can understand situationally wanting to back the Capitals. But when I broke down the lines and the players and how everybody's playing right now, I couldn't get past, I want to be on the Detroit Red Wings here tonight. Husso against Kemper. Husso starting to play better again. Now 904 save percentage, 3 shots. Kemper's been good this year, 914 save percentage, 5 shots. Everything changed for Detroit when Bertuzzi came back, and then he started playing well. He came back and he wasn't playing very well. Now he's starting to play well, and now their power plays at 26.5%. This power play is going to be very dangerous. And can you imagine at the beginning of the year, Red Wings playing the Capitals, and the Red Wings have the much, much better power play? Now, they also have 89.3% penalty killing. Why does a team go on a winning streak? Because their special teams, both power play and shorthanded, are flying. They're 7-3 over the past 10, Washington 3-7. They're as healthy as they've been all year. Lucas Raymond out with injury. The Washington comes in off its 4th straight loss, 4-1 at Carolina on Saturday night. That was the outdoor game. The last 3 have come without Ovechkin in the lineup. You take Carlson, Hagelin, and Ovechkin out of the lineup. I mean, what? I just don't want them. Tom Wilson is back in for the Caps, as Slatsy says, and that will help. Rocco Rogers says, I lean Washington at first, too, especially off the line, but Detroit's riding their way to the playoffs. No matter how desperate the Caps are, it doesn't mean they get it done. See, the way I see it, I think the Caps are going to completely let go, and I think they're going to be awful next year, too. I think they're just going to make a ton of money because Ovechkin's going after this goal record. And Detroit Red Wings are a team on the up, and they're winning hockey games right now. And I want them. I want my money on them. And I can understand Lee Davis thinking this is an uncomfortable spot, and I can understand you agreeing with that, Pete. But I moved on the Wings. And look, if the Wings play sloppy defense and the Caps step up and the Caps win 5-4 or something like that, at least I'll still cash with that Red Wings team total over. I think the Red Wings are going to be able to score goals here. The Red Wings feel good about themselves, and it's Tuesday, so at least they flew to Washington, on Sunday. They get in, and Monday they have a practice. They get a practice in, and then Tuesday they're going to beat the Capitals right now. Devin Brown says Capitals suck right now. They're a bad hockey team.
Yeah, all the comments I agree with. Rocco Rogers saying leading Washington at first too, but Detroit is riding their way from the playoffs. Devin Brown, the Caps suck right now. Yeah. I'm gonna, I don't know. I just have to trust what my initial capping Jimmy the Bag. I'm going to take the Caps first period minus 135. That's a current line at Will Hill. It's up to 140 at most other places. Will Hill still at minus 135, so I'll take that one. Caps first period minus 135.
There's our lawyer joining us, Pete Machiavelli in the house, who we got to hang out with at IFBC in Las Vegas. Our lawyer Machiavelli, and Lee Davis says, I lean Wings as well. At this price, I have an edge on Detroit, but this movement has me off. I get it. He says this isn't peasant movement, in my opinion. I agree. I can understand that. And North Ender says Wings are playing good. I've been watching the last 3 to 5 games. Larkin is rolling, and they're finally getting good goaltending. So Barry Smith saying Wings 4-3 says power play will be the difference. I hope it is. 4-3 victory would be just icing on the cake with me. It'd be a big day. So I've got 2 spots here. We have Pete on Capitals first period minus 135. I got the Detroit team total over 3 plus 114. And I got Detroit money line plus 135. Machiavelli says, when are we getting together? Pubapalooza, Machiavelli, San Antonio. Get that $100,000 truck. That guy's got such a nice truck, man. He's got the nicest truck I've ever seen. Get that $100,000 truck on the road, man. Bring it, drive to San Antonio, man. We'd love to hang with you. All right, let's rock and roll. Leafs.
Yeah. I mean, it was only a week ago that they went in on the road and beat Boston. So I mean, anything can happen in these games. All right, but I'm going to take it one more shot on the first period. All right.
A week ago they had Alexander Ovechkin in the lineup.
Right. I knew that, Jim. I knew that, but they still got. I knew that, Chip. Yeah, I mean it's hopefully first period they'll pull it out. All right, next game. What do we got? We got Toronto Buffalo.
Yes, we do. And there's Wham Bam in the house. I mentioned
Wham Bam. Yeah,
on his flights. I have a gift for old Wham Bam as well.
Very nice, very nice.
But take it away, man. This is a big one. Leafs.
Yeah, Toronto's off a loss as a big road favorite. That was a little bit forgivable because it was a back-to-back. The reports are that they were tired. Before that, they were winning, not every game, but 65, 70% or so. And Buffalo's an interesting team. They're obviously a team you can bet on in spots, but they do tend to lose as a home dog. Just looking back on them when they've been a home dog, they don't have a lot of upset wins as a home dog. And Toronto off that loss, I don't have a great read on exactly how good Toronto is, but and it's a suspiciously high road line here for Toronto, considering how capable Buffalo is in general. And I was thinking about I was thinking about over. I was thinking about Toronto, and I was thinking about Toronto first period.
I think that over is an interesting look. But let's just discuss the situation that we have here. Line-wise, Toronto opening up at minus 147 at Penny. They're now minus 162, a 15-cent move over to Toronto. I came close to moving on the Leafs first period, but I stopped myself. Let's go over to the total. The total opening up at 6.5. It's pretty much there right now as well, but they have a 7 at plus 108 to the over on the page. We have, I'm not sure who's going to be in net. I'd love to know if anybody can confirm anything. Samsonov, we expect, but Luokkanen could be in net.
Yes, Luokkanen likely.
14-7-2, 3.41 goals against average, 898 save percentage. Toronto 6-4-0 over the past 10, 32% power play, 92.9% penalty killing. That's how you win hockey games. Their 5-on-5 play has been dropping, and that was something that they could count on, a month ago. That's changed. Buffalo 6-3-1, 17.9% power play, 68.2% penalty killing. Toronto comes in off their having their modest 2-game winning streak snapped in a surprise 5-3 loss to Chicago on Sunday. I'm surprised. I don't know exactly what's going on with Keefe playing Ryan O'Reilly as the second line center and moving Tavares off of center ice to the wing with Mitch Marner. I wonder if they're just trying to get Ryan O'Reilly confidence here in this early part as a Leaf. I don't get it because they had a chance to be so deep down the middle and chose not to. Their third line right now, Pierre Engvall, David Camp, and Calle Jarnkrok, is not strong enough. I mean, you're not going to win in the playoffs with that as your third line. I thought that was the whole idea of getting O'Reilly, was to have him as a third line center. So I do not. And then they lose Rasmus Sandin. He's added to the injury issues for the Leafs. They still need to add a defenseman, and they have Sandin hurt. Sabres coming off their second straight win, 4-2 at San Jose on Saturday. This is their first game back from a 3-game California road trip. And I don't know, because the Leafs just made the big trade, are they an angry group off the loss? I don't really know. I can't bet that they're an angry group off the loss and take them on the -1 line. I want to fade the Sabres off of a 3-game California road trip that ended really strong after opening poorly. It's a fun time to be a Sabres fan. If I could bet futures on them for next year, I would bet them right now. I'm going to be all over them in the futures market next year. But AOD in the house. Lee Davis says feels like a Toronto spot. Billy Freer says Toronto is 6-2 this season on Loshak Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I need to watch this Leafs team. I mean, I was very surprised to see Tavares move off of the second line center spot, or just have Marner, Tavares, and O'Reilly as a line I did not see coming. So I just need to watch it at this point. It'd be Leafs or no bet. I mean, do we want to fade the Sabres solely because they're coming back from a California road trip that ended strong?
No, I mean Toronto has the new guys, and they're off of a little bit of an embarrassing loss. You know what, Jim? I'm going to take it. I'm going to take Leafs first period money line -135. Current line Pinnacle. Leafs first period money line -135.
Leafs first period -135. Our guy Wild Hound, Liverpool versus Real Madrid Champions League action. He's got a big 12-1 same game parlay. Liverpool to win to nil. Salah to score any time over 6.5 quarters, full game, and both teams to receive a card. There it is from the Wild Hound in the house. All right. I'll cheer you on, Pete. I thought I was.
I'm worried for Pete. There's like a murder around Pete's new place right now. The sirens have been blaring the entire show. Pete, are you okay? Is there something burning at your house right now? That's the breaking news. There's something
I'm fine. I don't know about all those people getting murdered out there, but hey, you don't want to don't get involved in shit you can't handle. Don't write a check your mouth. Don't write a check your mouth can't cash, or whatever that saying is. Yeah, they fucked up. They're getting murdered. Okay. I feel bad for them. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do, pal. I hope the cops can solve everything and fix everything, Yeah, there's people getting shot. Welcome to life. Welcome to reality.
Let's keep rolling. Next up is Wild.
Okay, LA and Minnesota. LA and Minnesota. Let me see. What do we got here? LA and Minnesota. Minnesota just feels vulnerable in general, right, Jim? I mean, they won 2 straight close ones at home, before that losing. And LA has won 4 in a row. So, the other games that you've capped, you've just been capping one team that's, just generally has a fire under them against another team that just feels lethargic and just doesn't really have it and overvalued. And that seems like what we have here, LA with some spirit to them, and Minnesota just a little bit overvalued. When they win, it's close. Then they lose more than they win. And again, I was leaning LA, but wanted to hear what you guys had to say first.
I was leaning Minnesota. I did bet the under 6, though. I bet the under 6. I've locked it in. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. Johnny Quick is a disaster. The Coyote, they're up 5-1 on the Coyotes, and they got Johnny Quick in net, and no lead safe with Johnny Quick in net. So Copley will be back in for this one. I think that I want the Wild to keep losing, but at some point we're going to get value on them.
Oh, man, Jim.
Yeah.
See, I'm a little bit slow today. Joseph Gomez with the joke. The Brooklyn Fire Department knows the picks are fire. I should have thought of that. Shout out to Joseph Gomez. Hell yeah. All right.
The Wild opened up minus 128 at Pinnacle. They're now minus 122. For a total perspective, it opened up at 6 as a pick'em. There's been a 4-cent move to the under. I believe I could have got minus 105 on the under and moved to minus 110. So, for me, the Kings are a good hockey team, but they're so flawed. You have all these right-handed shooting defensemen. You have goaltending that you can't trust. I mean, Copley, of course, is being much stronger than Johnny Quick. I'm not sure if it'll be Marc-Andre Fleury in net for the Minnesota Wild. Let me know if that's being confirmed. Kings 7-2-1 over the past 5. Their power play at 35.5%. Penalty killing at 80%. The Wild power play 24.2%. Kaprizov is a monster, but their penalty killing over the past 10 games at 96.4%. And that's what you need. The Wild are playing really good under hockey. I know they're coming off a 4-3 win at home over Nashville that went over. Billy Friedrich saying Gustafsson confirmed. Good. I don't want Fleury in that. But if I can get that Wild penalty killing that's so trustworthy to put a stop to the Kings' power play. Kings coming off their 4 straight win, that 6-5 shootout victory over Arizona. I felt like the under was a really strong spot for me, and I moved on it confidently. I was wondering what the line would be here because the Wild playing poorly, even though they're off 2 straight wins. I was wondering if you could get a minus 115 or something with the Wild, but it's just a little too much. They're a little too big of a favorite for me, the Wild. Minus 130 right now at Bet365. You'd have to turn that into a minus 1 line. And I think the Kings are a better hockey team. I mean, that's pretty easy to say, 32-18-7, also 59-5 on the road. So I'm on the under 6 at minus 110.
That sounds pretty good. I'm just thinking about, so you think that this is going to be a game where LA is going to come in and it's going to be one game after so many high-scoring games that everything changes as far as their game style is concerned?
Well, getting hurt badly. There's razor sharp picks, man. I don't know if you guys have been seeing how much he's cashing on his pick sixes of late. Thank you for the dono. What a guy he is. Razor sharp picks on a huge run with the horses. I love it. And our next big road to the Kentucky Derby is March 4th. It's about 11 days away for us. the Fountain of Youth Stakes. Back to this spot here. I think it's more that you're up 5-1 and you let a bad team back into it. And that just has to be unacceptable. You're on the road. The coach is going to be laying into you. You have to play accountable defensive hockey, at least to get started here against a team that's much better in Minnesota, an angry team that's 18-10-2 at home. So I know that Minnesota should have difficult time scoring. I have the Kings better goaltender. I have the Wild's better goaltender. You put it all together and
okay.
This would have been a 5.5 a couple years ago. Now the Kings are playing much higher scoring hockey, but
just the Kings are like 80% to overs over the past 3 or 4 weeks or something. You know what I mean? But that angle, that analysis that you just gave for me is applicable in a different game that's coming up later, which is interesting that you broke it down that way. But okay, I'm going to hold off. I think you're on the right side though. I'm going to hold off personally.
All right, well then let's move on to Knuckleheads Predators. But first, Razor says March 4th is booked. Kids heading to the parents. I got the same deal. The kids are heading out too. I'll be here just hammering horses with you guys alone, so I can't wait. Can't wait. Set the table for us, Pistol Pete. Canucks Predators.
Canucks Preds. Philly. Vancouver blasted Philly in their last game, but generally losing. They do get a win here and there, but generally losing. Right. Nashville lost a close one. Minnesota last game. That was on a back-to-back, though, after a high-scoring win. This one has Nashville written all over it. Maybe the Nashville team total over, and I'm not really afraid of the Nashville high money line here. Leaning Nashville, and maybe Nashville team total over. What do you think?
Yeah, I just don't trust Nashville at all. What's Ryan Johansson going to do back in Vancouver? Is he going to, because he's from Vancouver, is he going to care more? I question his character always. You have Artur Silovs that we expect will be in net for the Canucks, a late round pick, and he's been decent. He was just hung out to dry against the Rangers. The Canucks won that game. There was 2 empty net goals by Pettersson in that Philly game. So the 6-2, I don't know if it gives us the right idea, but the Preds coming in off their third loss in 4 games, 4-3 in Minnesota last night. It wasn't last night. It was 2 nights ago, right? Minnesota, I don't know why I wrote last night. Let's just take a look at the line history here, but I think you were right. How do you not? Is Forsberg back? I would need Forsberg healthy and rolling right now. Let me just get the injuries up here, but I guess you were right. You have the Predators coming in off a loss, and this Canucks team feeling good about themselves, and they're just awful. So I guess you're right. But we do have a 17-cent move towards the Canucks. The Nashville's gone from 23 on the other side. Nashville's gone from minus 170 to minus 147. The Canucks have gone from plus 150 to plus 133. And I just don't look. I can't. And Forsberg is out. Why do I have? Sorry, am I tripping out here? Of course, it's a Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee. I don't know what's wrong with me. Thank you for shaking my head loose there, Slatsy. Why did I think it was Vancouver in Vancouver for whatever reason? But why would the market be moving towards the Canucks?
Just because. Yeah, you're right. Good question, Jim.
It makes no sense. It just doesn't make any sense at all here with Forsberg out. Look at this. You have this Canucks team that's just so weak. Tyler Myers in front of the net screening our goaltending. Like he's baffling how bad he is. I don't know how Sammy Comer on Canucks money line. If you were just judging this game solely based on the market, how would you stay off the Canucks? You'd have to think the Canucks are live here. The Predators are not a good hockey team. They're not a good hockey team. Losers of 3 of 4. You take their best player out of the lineup in Forsberg. Duchesne and Johansson are not stepping up at all. The Devin Brown in the over. I could in any Canucks game, the over has got to be appealing, but that's minus 130 at Bet365. I'm not very.
The Preds have had a couple of crappy weeks, but before the All-Star break, they were winning. They were fine.
Yeah, but Philip Forsberg is a huge piece to the puzzle because their offense is not very good. And some of the younger players that we had hoped would step up for the Predators have not. And Leo said it says Canucks puck line official for me. The market really is concerning here. It's shocking that it would be moving so quickly to the Canucks. But I do not trust the Predators at all. I just can't put my money on this hockey team. I can't have money and look at Matt Duchene out there lollygagging around the ice. It just drives me crazy.
Okay, I guess I will. I guess in light of line movement, everything are saying, and Sammy Calmer being on the Canucks, I will hold off.
Yeah, I don't see how.
Well, so then here we go. Markel says over or nothing. Devin Brown over. Slatsy says over 7-2 in Nashville. I mean, if Nashville doesn't have any offense, then where's all this love for the over coming from?
Well, the Canucks are just horrific defensively and in goal. Now, Seelov's may be better than I'm not sure what to make of Seelov's because he was totally hung out to dry against the Rangers. But this is the worst defense. I mean, we just talked about who the Habs have is that group of 6, but this is the worst defense I've ever seen in my life as a Canucks fan. I mean, like I'm sitting there missing the days of Dana Merzen and Garth Butcher. That's how horrific this defense is. So I want nothing to do with it.
And there's been a big move to Vancouver, right?
It's a huge move, a surprisingly huge move. Clint saying Preds won the last 2, but it's 4-4 last 8 between these two teams. Do the Preds care about the little home stay versus Canucks before heading back out on the road? I'm Team Canucks. The Predators need to win or their season's over. They still have a chance at the playoffs. Small chance, but Alfred said the Canucks just went to plus 130. Yeah, there's no way. I don't want to watch another Canucks game for the rest of the season. The team. I get so angry thinking about what's happened to that franchise. So I want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it's down to plus 133, and let me see. I don't know. Gosh. I'm thinking of because usually when Vancouver loses, it's like by a margin. I'm thinking about just Preds -1 at like plus 100. You know, does that make sense? Or you just think they have no? So if not, I mean the total is 6.5 juice to the over.
These two teams are. I know everybody hates JT Miller, but I think JT Miller plays with heart. But other than that, these are two heartless hockey teams.
All right. Well, I'll take one of them. Pinnacle. Nashville Preds -1 plus 106. We praying for a push. Praying for a push here. Nashville Preds -1 plus 106. We'll make that official, Jim.
You are in a business.
Okay.
Let's roll.
Let's roll. Next one is Vegas, Chicago.
Yep.
All right, so Vegas suddenly won 5 in a row now, right? Before that, they've been really slumping. Chicago also won 2 in a row, both as a huge dog, and another team that is overall pretty dangerous as a big dog. So the question here is what happened? Why is Vegas winning now? And unless I get a very convincing answer from you, I guess in light of everything, even though Chicago's already won 2 in a row as a huge dog, at this line, I'd be leaning Chicago again.
You know, I wish these two, the Knights have won 5 straight, but their special teams, well, their penalty killing stayed strong, but Vegas power play over the last 10 games is at 3.8%. And that's better than the Blackhawks power play over the last 10 games.
I was also thinking, okay, go ahead.
But that would, if there aren't going to be power play goals, then I want the under.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was going to say, Jim. Go ahead.
The problem is Laurent Brossoit making his first start of the season. For the Henderson Silver Knights, he's 8-11-3, 2.72 goals against average, 909 save percentage. He's got to know that this is an opportunity, huge opportunity. And is it his last opportunity? Thompson, Aiden Hill, both out with injuries. Mark Stone out with the back injury. But I don't know what Brossoit is going to give. I guess when it comes to these older goaltenders that have, struggled and I think that the players are going to fight for him. I think they're going to fight for him, but I don't know. But he's not going to get many more of these opportunities. He's 29 years old. He's got the opportunity here. Lee Davis says Brossoit and Ned Eileen, Chicago, small edge. Sean Sullivan looking at Knights money line. Die Hard saying that the Hawks got to turn into a pumpkin soon. There's Kadesh in the house. We got 10 games that we're focusing on college basketball here in a second. But Patrick Kane coming off a hat trick, him and Domi, 6 points. I think they had 4 points each, didn't they? I believe they had 4 points each, so 8 points combined. Probably feel good about themselves. I don't know how the Knights have turned it around. I did not expect it to. I thought they were going to fall because I thought my futures on the Knights I thought were dead in the water, and I'd given up on them. And then all of a sudden, I've under 96.5 points in Vegas not to make the playoffs, a plus 215. And I'm like, oh shit, maybe a chance. But then they win 5 straight, and I'm screwed. I don't know what to say here. Knights, Blackhawks. I don't find anything appealing except for the Knights. I mean, do we want to expect the Knights to keep rolling here in Chicago? I don't know. I mean, that was at home in, original 6 matchup, Chicago-Toronto, where Chicago just stepped up. So this is
yeah. I think I'm gonna pass. There was something telling me maybe under, but yeah, I think I'll hold off on that. Weird game.
Yeah, I mean, and do we know who's going to be in net for the Blackhawks? Do we expect it to be Mrazek?
Yeah, expected.
Yeah.
Likely. It's going to be Mrazek.
Yeah, there's nothing appealing to me here. Chicago's been decent at home, 11, 16, and 3. I'm not interested. I'm going to stay off of it. I thought they'd be adding spots, but I did not.
Okay, let's pass. You want to move on?
Yeah, let's move on to the final game and then head over to college basketball.
Yeah, Philly and Edmonton. Now, this was the game that I was thinking maybe, Edmonton giving up so many goals for at least one game. And tell me if you think that the teams can do that. But teams that just like score a lot and give up a lot, can they for like one game change their style and have a bit of a lower scoring game? I don't know. But if ever there's going to be a game where you might want to look under with Edmonton involved, I was thinking about this one, and it may be just making it like, too just like blindingly obvious that you can't possibly pull the trigger on something that obvious. But you look at all their games, they're just in the stratosphere in terms of scoring, except for one, which was the last time they played Philly. And that was a 2-1 game, and here they are. That was just, a couple weeks ago. And here they are again. And it's going to be the same goalie matchup, of course, Carter Hart for Philly, and for Edmonton, Stuart Skinner. And so I was thinking about under, Jim. What do you think?
Well, there's been a 25-cent move towards the Oilers. It was a little bigger than that. Totals-wise here, he's minus 122 to the under 7. It moved up to 7, which is wild. It opened up at 7, but to be sitting around 7. The under 7 was minus 120 and minus 118. It just got hammered at that point. I mean, it's shocking. I love.
Oh, shit, Jim. Can I stop you just for 1 second?
Yeah.
NHL spreadsheet play of the day, Nashville. Ha ha. I was right.
Oh, it's nice. Nice to be on the same page.
Nice.
As
nice,
Ron
huh?
Crawford. Yeah. No,
yes.
Yeah. He's no concern that the market's moving on the other side. I'm not betting. I would not have anything. I'm not going to be on the other side.
Right. Sorry. Just wanted to point that out. All right. Go ahead, Jim. Go ahead.
No, as you should. And let's give Ron Crawford the love that he deserves. I mean, a lot of us have a bias when it comes to teams going to Alberta and going to Florida. Now, this is only when the Florida teams and the Alberta teams are good. Now, the only team that's not underachieving really of those 4 teams is the Lightning, but they've been healthy all year. Any NHL capper has made a ton of money fading a team who's successful on the first night of a back-to-back against these 2 tough hockey teams. And this is the absolute perfect spot for us. There's Jeff Slaughter saying, spin that wheel.
Hell yeah.
Look at that. Spin that wheel. Time again and spin that wheel. This one is for members only, giving away 2 $50 prizes. If we get to 150 likes, 2 $50 prizes for spin that wheel. So we need to know what do they need to write into the chat for the wheel to be open. That's what we need to know. But here, the Flyers are on the second half back-to-back after snapping their 4-game losing streak with a 4-3 win at Calgary last night. This is the absolute perfect setup, in my estimation, for a smash and grab for the Oilers. You have the Flyers. They looked awful against the horrific Canucks team. And then they stepped up. We see that happen nonstop when you have a 3-game road trip through Western Canada. If you play horribly against Calgary, you're going to play good against Vancouver. If you play horribly against Vancouver, you're going to play better against Calgary. You also have Travis Konechny leaving the game with an upper body injury. That's a huge blow. So now you have the Flyers on the second half of back-to-back after playing great. You have their best player in Konechny leaving the game with an upper body injury. And you have the Oilers coming off their 4 straight loss. The last 3 have come out in a shootout or overtime. They're getting hammered in the press for how they're playing defensively. They're getting hammered in the press for losing these 3 games in the extra stanza. And Philadelphia will play like they played against Vancouver here. And now you take Konechny off of that top line. And I took the Oilers on the puck line at minus 130. Mm-hmm. I thought about taking them at minus 2. I didn't. But this is just everything. It's perfectly set up. Now, the Flyers play with a lot of heart. And, the Oilers often don't. So we know that the Flyers are going to give you an honest effort. But I'm on Edmonton as a smash and grab. I predict a 5-2 final.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And my question is just, with a team like Edmonton, can they win? Can they hold another team's total to under 2.5? I mean, is this just going to be another 7-3 win? Or can they play a decent defensive game at all? Is it even in them?
I thought Darnell Nurse was becoming one of the top defensemen in the NHL. He's being just destroyed by Oilers fans who watch this team very closely. I don't know if they're capable of. They have to do something, and I hope it's not Erik Karlsson. Look, this power play over the last 10 games is hitting at 35.7%. They're talking about bringing over Karlsson at $11.5 million per year. That's ridiculous. What you need is 50%, 60% power play. No, you need to keep the puck out of your net. They should be trying to get Colton Parayko off the Blues, not Karlsson off of the Sharks. I can't trust their goaltending or their defense. Stuart Skinner, 2.95 goals against average, 913 save percentage. But I know that the Flyers, you take Konechny off of that power play. The Flyers power play is at 10% over the past 10 games with Konechny. Take Konechny off of it. I think this is a smash ball. The Oilers are angry. They're an angry group right now. 4 straight losses, 3 in the extra stanza. This one's not going to an extra stanza. So,
yeah, you know what? I'm gonna be a little bit safe here, but I agree with you. At Heritage, I'm seeing the -1 line at minus 231. Edmonton -1, minus 231. I'll take that, Jim, officially.
And I got the -1.5 at minus 130 here, and
although you're probably right, it's 1.5 is probably the much better deal.
Well, we've just seen this so often.
Yeah.
A team plays very well against Calgary, and now they have to go play Edmonton, who's an angry hockey team.
Yeah. So. I rarely do it, but just for psychological reasons. But you know what? I'll make my official pick. I'll go with you. I'll make it the 1.5 line, minus 129 at Heritage. I'll do that.
Okay, cool. Oh, there's -1.5 at minus 129.
And you don't think that the under or the Philly team total under is worth a shot, maybe?
For me, Pete, I really hesitate to back dogs on a team total under, big dogs, unless I think that if I can trust the team defensively. So
yeah, why not just take the friggin' puck line? You're right.
Yeah, so I don't find it appealing. Fanatical Jim says, random question: if you think Caps lose again, Pens are in the slide. Islanders make playoffs plus 200, or does that number somehow get better? I ended up losing confidence on that look, and I only put a half unit on. I put $100 on the Islanders to make the playoffs at plus 210. It's sort of a cop out. I did that last week, a week and a half ago or something. So DC Cap are giving a final score of 6-2. But yeah, I think that the Penguins are going to get their acts together, but I think the Capitals are donezo. So I think the Islanders really have an opportunity here, and that was a huge win for the Islanders, because we were on them on Friday. I was so confident in them on Friday, and then to see them beat the Penguins again. The Islanders are for real. I think they're going to sneak in, but it's not going to be easy, and the Pens aren't going to let it be easy. But that's our NHL card here. Let's review all NHL action here. Pete's on the Blues first period at plus 203. I had a lot of interest in it, but Pete is on the Habs first period at plus 206. Ducks
Ugly.
Lightning, we stayed
Go
off.
ahead.
Pete's on the Capitals first period minus 135. I doubled up on Detroit money line. Detroit team total over 3. Pete's on the Leafs first period minus 135. I'm on the under 6 in Kings Wild at minus 110. Pete's on the Preds minus 1 at minus 106. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today is also on the Preds.
Plus 106, Jim. Plus 106.
Oh shit! Really? Okay, nice.
Yeah.
My bad. Okay, plus 106. And then I am, and the contest phrase to type in Pub Up Palooza 2023. If you are a member and you type in Pub Up Palooza 2023, you will be in our Wheel of Glory. Wheel of Glory. Not to be confused with a Hole of Glory. This is a Wheel of Glory. And we're going to be giving out $50.
I don't think Pete's been here for a wheel.
Oh, nice. It's fun.
We're popping his cherry as another person's being murdered right down the street. Hello?
You know, it's fucking hell out there. Get that money or die. That's what I'm doing right here, right now with you guys. Getting that money or die.
I'm excited to get into college basketball, Pete. I spent one day in the red. One day I'm back nice, not too comfortable, but comfortable enough in the black. 103 and 90, 53.4% plus 3.9 units. ROI plus 2.02%. Average line minus 110. Went 3-2 on Friday and haven't bet since college basketball. So I'm looking forward to get back at it. Pennsylvania plus 2.5 was great. You guys were, well, let's talk about what was great. Pennsylvania plus 2.5, Canisius plus 6.5, Quinnipiac first half plus 1.5, cash. Wyoming was a mistake against Air Force, but you guys were so right about New Mexico, the Lobos against San Jose State, and that was a mistake. But 3-2 plus 0.8 units. I'm excited to break down the college basketball card with you here, Pete. I know Dabby Cab will be joining us here shortly, and we have picked 10 games. So I'll give you guys, these are the 10 games that we are capping, just so you guys know. Also, you can always check in our video description every day to see what 10 games they are. But we're 8 of the big-time games we're capping. So you would probably imagine that Villanova, Xavier, Baylor, Kansas State, Tennessee, Texas, Miami, Virginia Tech, Mississippi State, Missouri, and then Marquette, Creighton, Iowa State, Texas. I already said Texas. I'm tripping out. I meant Texas A&M on that first one. And Indiana, Michigan State. The additions were I really wanted to add in the 2 games in the MAC with the top 4 teams involved. I think will help us for the MAC tournament. So we have Kent State, Ball State, and Akron, Toledo as well. Yes, AOD, I'm very thankful to be out of Parkdale. And every time I hear the sirens, I think about how lucky I am that I've moved out of Parkdale. And feels good. Feels good here in a situation like this. Sammy Commerce is all in on Michigan State, and BJ says I'm all over Baylor and Missouri, 500 a pop. Let's bring on our NCAA basketball expert. He has hit 4 of his last 5 with me and Pete, and he's ready to rock here today, and he'll be back in action with us again tomorrow. Please welcome from Dallas, Texas, Mr. Dabby Cab, how are you?
What's up, man? What's up? Good, Jimmy. Good, Pete. How are you guys doing today, man? We got the NHL and college basketball, so we get to go early on this college basketball. I love it.
Yeah, I've capped about half of these games, Dabby Cab. So some of them I have some thoughts on. Others I'm going to pass on, just to let you know.
Well, let's get rolling here. I will set the table. I'll hand it over to Pistol Pete Loshak, and then he will then send it off to you, Dabby Cab. So let's get all this ready to go. All right, college basketball here on Loshak in the bag. Villanova Wildcats popping off 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 13-14, 7-9 in the Big East at number 16th ranked Xavier. Musketeers 20-7, 12-4 in the Big East. We're in Cincinnati, Ohio for this one. Take a look at the line history here, and we will move to Bet Online from Pinnacle. So let's move over to Bet Online for their movement. Bet Online opened this up at 5.5. It's now at 4.5. So we have a 1-point move towards Villanova. Total wise opened up at 148 and it's dropped to 147. Let's take a look at the cash flow here for this one. And Villanova on today's card has been given the most implied line value from Sports Insights. They are full line value. We have Kansas State with like 60%, East Carolina 50, Colorado State 50. Villanova, full line value, 13,808 tickets in, 44% of the tickets on Nova and 77% of the cash. Then you have 62% of the tickets and 95% of the cash on the under. Lee Davis says feels like a sleepy spot for Xavier. Leo said took Villanova with the 6, but I can't vouch for the 4.5. There's Nasty Nate in the house. Alfred says Nova money line. Nova had their 3-game winning streak snapped in the 85-72 loss at Providence on Saturday's 3-point dogs. Xavier snapped their 2-game losing streak with an 82-68 win at home over DePaul on Saturday's 14-point favorites. They actually won. They dominated. They were up 49-27 at the half, took their foot off the gas pedal. Xavier won at Nova 88-80 back on January 7th as 1.5-point dogs. In that game, Zach Fremantle was 11 of 17 from the field for 29 points and 11 boards. Pistol Pete, what are your thoughts here? Big East action, Nova, Xavier.
Yeah, I wanted to take, Xavier, except of course all the personnel issues for Xavier. Just hard to get a read on for me. I'm sure someone who follows this team very, very closely has a better read on what's going on. My thought was Xavier, but the issue is just who's going to be playing, how effective will they be? I'm not exactly sure. Obviously, the market is expecting a lot of guys to be out and hobbled for Xavier, which makes sense. But all things being equal, which they are certainly not in this game, I was leaning Xavier. But nothing for me. Want to hear what Dabby Cab has to say about this one.
I was at the same boat. I probably would have bet Xavier if it wasn't for, like you said, the personnel issues. College basketball's, I know in the NBA you get an all-star out and it's like, oh, hey, bet that team because they're going to find a way to win somehow. But college isn't really the same. When we get some of these players out in college, like especially like when you look at what TCU did when Mike Miles Jr. was out. I mean, you could have faded him every single game he was out and you would have won except for the first one, which doesn't count because he played for 4 minutes. So every game that he was out from the beginning, if you would have faded him, you would have cashed. You look at this matchup here, though, Villanova, I mean, they have not been competitive whatsoever on the road. And that's the biggest thing for me why I was leaning on Xavier. Villanova's lost 5 of their last 6 road games, and they've only covered once in those 6 games. I mean, it's been a really down year for this program. I mean, it's just bad. Two games below 500 in conference play. And you look at Xavier, they've won every single home conference game that they've played this more. Even more so, Villanova doesn't score at the same pace as Xavier. Villanova is only averaging 112.7 points per 100 possessions, which isn't terrible. I mean, that's not terrible. But you look at Xavier, they're putting up 118.9 per 100 possessions, ranking them 10th. And Xavier is very good from behind the arc. They shoot 39% from 3. And a key for that is the Wildcats. They're 209th in the country in 3-point defense, so a little below average. A lot of this makes me want to take Xavier. Personnel issues are keeping me off.
Zach Fremantle dominated the game when they faced each other. Zach Fremantle not in the lineup for that game back on January 7th. And Nova probably wins the game easily. Well, easily is a little much, but wins the game. So, I mean, who's taking over for Fremantle's 29 points and 11 boards?
So you're leaning Nova right here?
I don't know if I want to jump on them at plus 4.5, but I mean, like, let me get a better. I mean, I can understand the situation for people who've got them at the better number to sit there and be confident, but I mean, DePaul's bad, so we don't need to put too much emphasis into the win over DePaul. I don't know. Johnny Gunn says under. DJ Big Boss says Xavier easy call. Nova is on a down year.
Very true.
Yeah, I'm just worried about exactly. I mean, I have to go through it player by player and see what the actual situation is. I was leaning Xavier, and definitely the under makes a lot of sense as well.
My big thing is I think that Villanova is going to seriously struggle keeping up with Xavier scoring wise. But that's it. This line honestly seems a little fishy. I thought it would be like 6.5 or 7. So.
Yeah, I mean, with no injuries, I thought it would be 9 or whatever.
Right, you're right.
Something
Yeah,
like that.
injuries. That's the thing. Injuries are the one thing that keep me. There's especially on a day like this when I've got plenty of action and plenty of games to bet. Injuries are just something that usually I stay away from.
Yeah. Tough one. Yeah, what is the under? I didn't cap any of the totals too closely. Yeah, the under seems pretty. Why is that total so high?
I guess
Relatively.
I mean, if Xavier hits their shots and you have Fremantle not cleaning up the glass.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I probably have a clearer view on a lot of this stuff closer to tip. But yeah, I would definitely be leaning under on this one.
The pin, like looking at Bet Online's movement on the total is not really helpful because they're under 147s plus 110. I mean, it's not. There's been there was a 20-cent move to the over. Really, if you go to Pinnacle, you get a better idea of it. And this opened up at 148. It's now at 149. Now that 149 is just the over, so I guess it's a 148.5. But Shogun Soup says I like Nova to find a way to cover the plus 4.5 versus Xavier defense today. I mean, I guess. Yeah, what are you saying, my man? I
was just going to say, I'll just reiterate on this Xavier team, and I know we all know this, but points per game, they're 9th in the country. Field goal percentage, they're 4th in the country at 49.9%. 3-point percentage, they're 5th in the country at 39.6%. What scares me off Villanova here is the fact that Xavier has the potential to go put up 95 points anytime they want.
Yeah.
Even with this roster, yeah.
Yeah, I guess if I was going to move on Nova, I would find it more appealing to take them, on the first half. I mean, they've had 3 weeks now with Fremantle out. Is that right? 3 weeks.
It's been a while. I know that.
Yeah, I guess Nova first half gives me a little bit of interest, but. That'll be it for me. I'm not sure if I'm going to move on it. Are you guys staying off this spot?
Yeah, for now. Yeah.
All right. Let's roll on to the next spot on the board. 7 p.m. Eastern. Number 9 ranked Baylor Bears 20-7, 9-5 in the Big 12. At number 14th ranked Kansas State Wildcats 20-7, 8-6 in the Big 12. We're in Manhattan, Kansas for this one. Take a look at the line history here, and then get into the cash flow. So line history wise, we have Baylor opening up at penny at -1. They're now -2. They opened up at Bet Online at -1. They're now -1.5. They did get to -2, but it came back to -1.5. Totals wise, this opened up at 149 and it's dropped to 148. Cash wise here for this one, we have, as I stated at the top of the show, Kansas State, the second highest perceived line value on the board today. 10,164 tickets in. But the masses are betting Baylor. 67% of the tickets and 85% of the cash. And the market moving slightly towards Baylor. 52% of the tickets and 88% of cash on the over. Baylor had their 4-game winning streak snapped in an 87-71 loss at Kansas on Saturday as 5-point dogs. Kansas State snapped their 2-game losing streak with a 61-55 win at Iowa State. Saturday's 4-point favorites. They shot just 37.5% from the field and 33.3% from 3 in the win. They didn't look very good, but they did snap their losing streak. And then we have Rebenga because Kansas State upset Baylor 97-95 in overtime back on January 7th as 8-point dogs. In that one, they shot 53.1% from the field and 44.0% from 3. Interesting. Take it away here, Pete. Baylor, Kansas State.
Yeah, my first thought was not necessarily Baylor full game, but first half. Not huge, but that was definitely my lean. I was thinking though that Kansas State would open. I was expecting maybe -2 or so, and I believe that Baylor opened as a favorite. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah, my first thought was definitely. Kansas State is a very, very well-coached team. And if they're down at the half, I will likely be on Kansas State second half. But I was definitely thinking Baylor at least first half.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd love to hear what Dabby has to say. Take it away, Dabby.
I got you. Okay, so this is one of those tough ones where it's like where it's like it almost seems like they're asking us to bet Baylor when you look into it. Baylor's 4 of their last 5. Their one loss was that game against Kansas. And I was on Baylor first half. They kicked Kansas ass in the first half. They were up by 11 or something like that going into half, did great, then just fell apart in the second half. And then you look at K-State, they dropped 2 of their last 3. Offensively, these two teams aren't even on the same level right now with where things have been trending. Baylor's putting up 122 points per 100 possessions, which is outstanding. That's second in the country. K-State putting up 111.8 per 100. But they're only in their last few games. If you look at what K-State's done, 61, 65, 63, and that was, Iowa State, Oklahoma Tech. They're averaging 63 points a game their last 3 games. And Iowa State was at home. I know they got the win there, and that's kind of how Iowa State drags you down. But even before that, you look at Texas, they only put up 66 points. This Kansas State team has been trending in the wrong direction, and they're struggling. They're struggling to put up points lately. And really, you look at it, you even got a 79-65 loss to OU in there, who is not – I've been saying this all year. OU is not a good basketball team. They're the worst team in the Big 12, in my opinion. I love Baylor here first half. I didn't even have to take any points with them. I got minus 111 on the money line. So I love it. I got Baylor first half minus 111. And this is a revenge spot for Baylor too. So they lost, in Waco against Kansas State earlier in this season. And I love revenge spots. Just like yesterday was a revenge spot for Kansas against TCU. I was all over Kansas yesterday. I love Baylor here. I might bet them full game also, but I've got them first half right now minus 111.
Wow. Okay. We did not consult beforehand, Jimmy the Bag, just so you know.
Oh, I do know that. No worries.
Yeah.
I love watching a team like Kansas State, winning at shooting 37.5% from the field. Like that's a team I want to bet on, but I can understand backing the Rubenga side of things. I don't know if this is all going to correlate enough for me to move on it, but are you also going to move on Baylor first half?
Yeah, you can make that official for me, Jim. I'm seeing minus 115 at the Pinnacle right now. Baylor first half money line, minus 115 official play.
You got it. First half money line. And Cab, you tweeted out your action already?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, first half minus 115 for Pete. I'm going to stay off of this spot. There's Alex Hills in the house. Jake Burns, Equinimus. So how do you not move on Baylor first half? Well,
because Kansas State, first of all, they have a notorious strong home court edge going back years and years and years. And this year in particular, they are a very impressive team that I feel nervous betting against in any situation, any which way.
13-1 at home this year. There you go.
Yeah,
and just going back years, they've been a team that's been notoriously bad on the road and good at home relative to how they are.
14-1. My bad if it was 14-1. I just said 13-1. I knew it was 13-1 or 14-1. Yeah, they're very good at home, but we don't got to worry about that, Pete, because we're in the first half here. So What happens in the second half happens in the second half.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I like the idea of Baylor coming off of a loss, but for me, obviously the home court plays a role. I think a bigger role for me, though, is that I go back to my first rules in basketball betting, and that was that the short road favorite I wanted nothing to do with, and I was so extreme about it that I would just completely, I wouldn't even look at betting a short road favorite. So it's just not appealing enough for me. You got 85% of the cash on Baylor, and yes, the market has moved slightly towards them, but DC Capper, no, I missed them. Can you hit me with them? Alec coming in with his plays. I'm trying to copy and paste everybody's action. DC, can you hit me with them again? Because I will definitely talk about them here as we go over everybody's action.
I'll say this about Baylor, too. They've got the best guard play in the country. George, he's anybody who's a Baylor fan or likes Baylor, enjoy him while you can, because he's gone. He's an NBA player after this year. I mean, Flagler, George, these guys, their guards can play some basketball.
All right, let's move on. Troy Torrance says, what did this line open at? We did discuss it briefly here, but I'll pop it up again.
I thought I saw like -1 for Baylor.
Yeah, exactly. -1 at both BetOnline and Pinnacle. -1. All right, let's move on. Let's keep rolling through these college basketball games here because we got big ones. Here's another big one. 7 p.m. Eastern, number 11th ranked Tennessee Volunteers, 20-7, 9-5 in the SEC. Number 25 ranked Texas A&M Aggies, who are rolling right now. Reed Arena and College Station. We have, let's go to the line history here. This opened up at Penny with Tennessee +1. They're now +2. This opened up at BetOnline as a pick'em, and Texas A&M now -2. So a big move there, or 2 points, a legit move. This total opened up at 131. It got down to 128.5. It's back at 129. Tennessee comes in off their third loss in 4 games, 66-54 at Kentucky. Saturday's 1.5-point favorites. And as I said, A&M rolling 5 straight wins, 7 of their last 8, coming off a 69-60 win at Missouri on Saturday night as 2.5-point dogs. They turned the ball over 21 times, but they dominated the boards 41-23, and they haven't faced Tennessee yet this season. Gregory Simmons in the house. What up, Greg? Says Tennessee is light. I like A&M. I like A&M as well. Let's take a look at what the cash is for this. 9,247 tickets in. 29% of the tickets and 28% of the cash. That's all that's on A&M. And the lines moved 2 points in their favor. It's 50-50, but 67% of the tickets are on the under. I mean, what's going on with Tennessee right now? We've had a lot of cappers in the chat say, this is something that happens to Tennessee every year, is that they start strong and they start slipping. A&M system spot, says Lee. I'm going to move on. There's Noli Knows in the house. Robert Franklin saying Tennessee starting to do their annual crash and burn. There's the Fowlish Hound. Got the big delusional eats party on Sunday. The dates moved to Sunday before the comedy show down in Southtown 101. But here, and great to see you, Fowlish. Thank you for joining us. Tennessee, Texas A&M. I'm going to move on Texas A&M. I'm going to move on them. I expect to move on them. I love coming off a game with 21 turnovers. So you not only did you win the game, but you're going to get destroyed by your coach, and you better play cleaner basketball when you play next, or Volunteers are going to eat you up. What do you think here, Pete?
That's what I was thinking. When I set my own lines when I have the time. And for this one, I got to be honest, I was thinking that Texas A&M would be like maybe 3.5 or 4. And my note to myself was, would I still like them even at that line? And I was like, maybe I would. The big question, and Dabby Kev, I'm sure, can answer this way better than I can, possibly perfectly. What's up with Tennessee? This does tend to happen to them, a lot. And, I don't really like fading a good team when you're buying, selling them low, as it were. But, I was thinking about maybe taking Texas A&M even at 3.5 anyway. And at the current line of 2, that would be my lean.
What do you think, Debbie?
I've been sitting here with you, Jimmy, on these shows and on Saturday shows, sitting here talking about how I should be betting on A&M and how hot this team is. They're just covering spreads left and right for people winning games. I agree here. Tennessee, let's start with A&M. They've won 14 of their last 16 games when they took down Missouri on the road Saturday, which was a great win. A&M's, they're not stellar on either side of the ball, but they're above average on both sides of the ball, which I like a well-rounded team. They're putting up 74.3 points per game. That's good for 121st in the nation. Where they do really well is they rebound. They're getting 37.2 rebounds a game, which is great. And then on defense, they're 68th in the nation in scoring defense. So they've got a good defense. Tennessee, on the other side, they're just trending in the exact opposite direction. They've lost 3 of their last 4. When Tennessee beat Alabama, which I was on Alabama first half plus 1.5 and still cashed, which was nice. But when Tennessee beat Alabama, I said that is the last good thing that Tennessee is going to do this year. And I stand by that. That is the last good thing that Tennessee is going to do this year. That's the highlight of the season. This team crashes and burns every single year. Like everyone in the chat saying, it's what they do. And, you go back even further, they've lost 3 of their last 4. Even their win against Auburn, the 46-43 win against Auburn, Tennessee was fouled, Auburn was fouled at the buzzer, and it was a 3-point shot. Auburn should have been shooting to tie that game. They weren't, but they should have been. So Tennessee very easily could be lost 4 of their last 5 here. Tennessee's just falling. And with this momentum that A&M has, and they've got their home crowd backing them, they're 13-1 at home this season. I want to say they've won. Yeah, here it is. They've won 9 straight games at home, 13-1 with all that momentum and a big game in Tennessee. This place is going to be rocking, man. I can't get behind Tennessee. I can't. A&M or pass, no doubt.
I'm going to go ahead and move on A&M. Full game here. I just like the momentum. I like everything about it. Pistol P, you make anything official here?
I don't know why is I definitely wouldn't take Texas A&M first half. If I want them, I take them full game. But so Tennessee is bad for real right now, right? You think? Gabby?
They're not that great of a team. Honestly, they're not. I mean, you got Ziegler. He's good, but he's as good as he can be. Sometimes he's outstanding. Other times he's a little sporadic and turns the ball over too much. This team just doesn't have a great offense. Tennessee's got a good defense, but they don't have a great offense. And I think A&M, I think Buzz Williams, he's gonna have some presses and some shit set for Tennessee that's really gonna throw them off here. I mean, he's a great coach. What he's doing with this A&M team this year is just impressive. Because I'm not saying they're bad, but they are definitely playing above the talent that they have.
All right, Jim, I'll take the pinnacle line right now. Texas A&M -1.5, -116. Texas A&M -1.5, -116.
You are locked in, my friend. Let's move on and head over to the ACC, 7 p.m. Eastern. Number 13th ranked Miami Hurricanes, 22-5, 13-4 in conference at the Hokies, 16-11, 6-10 in conference. We're in Blacksburg, Virginia for this one. This opened up with the Hurricanes at +1. They're now +2.5 at BetOnline. Totals wise, it opened up at 157. It's dropped all the way down to 152.5. Take a look at the cash flow for this one. Miami, where is it here? Sorry, give me a second. There we go. Virginia Tech has been given a 25% line value, 14,495 tickets in, 49% of the tickets and 90% of the cash on Virginia Tech. Big bets coming in on Virginia Tech, 63% of tickets and 83% of cash on the under, but it's dropped 4.5 points. Hurricanes coming off their 6th straight win, 96-87 at home versus Wake Forest on Saturday, 6.5 point favorites. Now, I just think that the Hurricanes at this point in the season can't be faded at home. The Watsco Center is going off. They're selling out their games. They're 58.7% from the field, 50% from 3. They're just, you can't, but then you get them out on the road and it's a different story. Virginia Tech comes in off their 2nd win in 3 games, 79-72 at home over Pittsburgh on Saturday. It's 5-point favorites. They had lost their previous game, 82-76 versus Boston College, their previous home game, 82-76 versus Boston College, 13-point favorites. And they bounced back at home. I mean, that was a real easy spot to back them at home, I thought. Here's a little trickier, but they did lose 92-83 at Miami on January 31st. As 3.5-point dogs. I think Virginia Tech gets its Rebenga here, and I would like to bet them here. But I'll wait to hear your guys' breakdowns. Take it away. Pistol, Pete, Loshak, Hurricanes, Hokies.
Yeah, Virginia Tech is really tough against good teams at home. When I made this line, I actually thought it would be Virginia Tech. My line here, -3.5. Tech -3.5 or so. I said not on the dot, but or so. And kind of surprised that it opened so low. Not surprised that it's gotten bet up. And at the current line, I haven't bet it yet, but I definitely take Virginia Tech at -2.5.
I'm going to do just that unless Dabby Cap talks me off of it. Take it away, Cap.
I don't want to talk you guys off of it, but I'm not getting off my other side here. You look at the Hurricanes here. They're 4-0 ATS their last 4 games. Or 4-0 after their last 4 games. They're 6-1 their last 7 Tuesday games. I don't really care about that shit. But 5-1 their last 6 overall. And then you look at the road. I've been on this Miami team for 2 years now, and people want to joke and be like, "Oh, I know you're on Miami." Yeah, well, let me tell you what Miami's road record is ATS last 26 games. It's 21-5. I'm gonna say that again. They're 21-5 against the spread their last 26 road games. I like the Hurricanes here. I've got them in the first half plus 1.5 points. Virginia Tech, against the spread, they're 11-16. Where you look at Miami on the road just this season alone, 8-2 against the spread. Also, let's go into furthermore of why Miami needs to be playing full strength this game. Okay, Miami, they're second. They're half a game behind in the ACC behind Virginia. They're on a 6-game winning streak. They're 17-10 against the spread this year. This game means something to them. There's 3 games left. And they're half a game behind. I like Miami here. I took them in the first half, plus 1.5, and I very likely will take them on the money line for the full game. So, but
what was the juice you got on the first half plus 1.5?
Minus 110.
Minus 110 for Dabby Cab. Pete, where does that take you hearing that analysis?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Miami's a scary team to bet against, no question about it. You know, I gave. I'm sorry.
They're one of my favorites to win it all this year. They're my sleeper. People ask me, and you know, I'm not as much of a sleeper now because they've made some noise, but I've been saying that weeks ago. I've been saying that. You asked me that actually, Pete, a couple weeks ago on your show, and I think Miami's who I gave you when I said sleeper.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's. Yeah, I think I'm gonna hold off for now. It's tough. They're you know, I gave Virginia Tech a significant home court edge boost in this one. Maybe that is not justifiable, but it's what I did when I set the line at 3.5. So yeah, you know, I'm gonna hold off for now. Virginia Tech. Go ahead.
Almost everybody in the chat is on Miami. Lee Davis going to be on Virginia Tech. I'm going to be on Virginia Tech full game, but Miami first half, we can get the, you know, best of both worlds here and cash them both. But this is a spot where I just like to challenge Miami. I you know, let's challenge Miami because there's too many things in my estimation in Virginia Tech's favor here. You've lost at Miami by 9. You've within your last 2 home games, you shit the bed against a terrible opponent. So I feel like they're going to be sharp. And then you also have Miami coming off playing in a sold-out Watsco Center. Sold out, 58.7% from the field and 50% from 3. Now you go into a tough place to play. I'm not saying that they aren't capable of shooting like that, but this is enough for me to back Tech here. Cab on Miami first half. And is there anything that you want to add here, Pistol, or do we move on?
No, move on.
All right, let's move on. 7 p.m. Eastern, we head back to the SEC. Mississippi State Bulldogs, 18-9, 6-8 in conference. At Missouri Tigers, 19-8, 7-7 in conference. Mizzou Arena in Columbia, Missouri. Mississippi State bounced back from that home loss against Kentucky. And that, I think we had a show that day, Cab, because I lost on that bet. You had Kentucky first half, you cashed it. I had Mississippi State a full game, and I lost it.
Yeah.
They were way back. They were down way, and they came back. Now, they came back and beat Ole Miss at Ole Miss 69-61 on Saturday. Missouri comes off of back-to-back losses. They got destroyed at Auburn. They came home on Saturday against Texas A&M and lost by 9. Let's take a look at the line history here. Oh, shit. Sorry, I'm still in the Virginia Tech game. Let's move over here and get to this line history here. Mississippi State opened up at Pinnacle as 3-point dogs. They're now 3.5-point dogs. Over at BetOnline, over at BetOnline, they opened up at +2, and they're at +3.5 as well. But they got up to +4.5 this morning a couple times, and +4.5 last night. So there has been buyback at that number. From a total side of things, it's opened up at 138.5 and is now at 139.5. And cash flow here, we have 7,362 tickets. 67% of the tickets and 77% of the cash is on Missouri. 79% of the tickets, 76% of the cash is on the under. Take it away for us here, Pistol. Bulldogs, Tigers.
Yeah, this is tough. My numbers like Missouri, but Mississippi State has been so great ATS, and Missouri has not been. So I'm thinking Missouri first half at least. Maybe not necessarily full game. We'll reevaluate at the half, but you know, the loss to Texas A&M maybe a little bit forgivable, and they should be able to statistically get things back. But again, they've been, you know, you're betting if you take Missouri, you're taking a team that has been not good ATS going against a team that's been lights out ATS. But before I was here with Dabby Cavett, I'm definitely leaning Missouri first half.
before we hear from Dabby Cab, let's. I know Jose just highlighted it, but BJ, and we're talking the cappers unit size 2.5 of mine, $500 a pop. Says Missouri's the most confident bet I have on this card.
There you go. Now, I don't really care what Dabby Cab has to say, actually. Missouri. I'm going to be on Missouri. There you go. Take that out. Put that in the joke year in review video.
Take it away, Cabby. I'd love to hear it.
Okay. Oh, yeah. All right, I got you. So this is like, you look at the last game against A&M. This is kind of like that. You got a clash of offense versus defense. The thing is A&M's defense is A&M's offense is actually significantly better than Mississippi State's. So even though it's a clash of styles, and I know we saw Missouri drop it to A&M, I just think Missouri's offense is so much better in this situation. The Bulldogs, they only have one player in double figures this season, okay? And if they can hold Smith in check, where are they gonna find their points from? That's where it comes down to me. Whereas Missouri, they have a variety of scoring options. They move the ball around good. Mississippi State only 348 from the free throw line. I can't stand that. While you got Missouri shooting 39th in the country from the free throw line. And you look at the Tigers, like I said, I know their defense is rough. Their rebounding is rough. But they are 21st in the nation in scoring offense with 80.3 points per game. And I just think that this is a situation where Mississippi State is going to struggle to find people to score the ball. Even with Missouri's defense being as bad as it is, they have one player that they need to lock down. If they run the right doubles and they lock him down, there's no reason why they can't shut him down. And then I don't see where Mississippi State's going to find points from. So I like Missouri here also.
I like them as well. Did you bet Missouri? Is this on your card in your record?
It is not. I have a lot though. So when we go over it at the end, I think I'm going to add a couple. So I'm just going to wait till then.
Sounds good. Pistol Pete, are you making Missouri?
Yes. You can add for me Missouri first half -2, -110. That's the current line at Heritage. And then I could take 3.5, but I'm just going to be a little bit the safe. I'll take the money line -165 at Heritage. Missouri money line -165, just in case.
Okay, locked in here. Also, don't forget, we get to 150 likes. We are 65 likes away. We need 150 likes, and we'll give out 2 $50 prize packages. Not Will, Jeff Slaughter. Our guy, Jeff Slaughter, on the Wheel of Glory. All right. So we need to get to 150 likes. 2 cappers. Members have to be members. All you have to do is write into the chat, Pubapalooza 2023. And speaking of Pubapalooza 2023, our very own DJ Big Boss just booked his flights. God damn. I'm so excited to hang out with Boss again. I love him so much. And you know what? Boss will be hunting out in San Antone. Right there. That's who he's looking for in San Antone. That's his steez, man. That's his steez. So join us. Ooh, all right. Okay, let's get back to work here. Next up for us. Okay, so here we go. We've talked about some big spots on today's card. Now we are going to hit the 2 MAC games back-to-back. The best 4 teams clearly, easily in the MAC are all playing tonight. We're going to start with Akron, Toledo, and then we're going to go into Kent State, Ball State. I really believe that we're going to have angles here working together, capping these games back-to-back, and that's why I included them in today's show. So let's fire away. 7 p.m. Eastern, Akron Zips, 19-8, 11-3 in the MAC at Toledo Rockets, 21-6, 12-2 in the MAC. We're at Savage Arena in beautiful Toledo, Ohio. Let's go to the line history here first off. Get back to the 7 p.m. games. Akron, Toledo. We have Akron opening up at Pinnacle at +4. There's been a 4-cent move to Toledo. 4-cent move at Toledo. Over at Bet Online, they opened up Akron at +3.5, and Akron got up to +5. So there was a 1.5 move to Toledo at 11:10 p.m. last night at Bet Online. It's come back to -4. That -4 is juiced. Totals wise, it's opened up at 151.5, and they have it listed at 149, but it's lower than that because that 149 is at minus 125. Let's get into the cash flow for Akron Toledo. 3,592 tickets in. 63% of the tickets, 84% of the cash is on Toledo. Then 70% of the tickets, 82% of the cash is on the over, but this total is dropping. Akron comes in off its second straight win, 86-66 at home over Buffalo on Saturday's 9.5-point favorites. Toledo come in off their 11th straight win, 91-86 at Bowling Green as 9.5-point favorites. Toledo just won at Akron 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, February 7th, is 3-point dogs. They shot 52% from the field and 50% from three in the victory. Is this a spot where Akron gets their revenge? Revenga. Pistol Pete, floor is yours.
This one has second half or live betting written all over it. Pre-game, I'm capping the cappers on this one. No real opinion. Not that I didn't look at it because I did, but two top MAC teams. Capping the cappers on this one and going to follow it pre-game and live. At the half and live.
Let's hear what Dabby Cab has to say. Gregory Simmons says, can Akron make it a defensive game? If you think so, take the under. If you like points, obviously take the over. And DC Capper surprised that this total is dropping. The first of back-to-back MAC games with the top four teams in play. Sun Dizzle in our chat hour. And you want to get a sneak peek at our headlining comic on our Sunday night after the Delusional Eats party with Foulest Hound. We have a stand-up comedy show headlined by our man Sun Dizzle in the house. And Dizzle very interested in what Big Boss has ahead of him. Sun Dizzle says all he wants to do is cash and break hips. So you're with the right group, Dizzle. But back to this Akron-Toledo spot. Cabby, take it away.
I got you. Look, I initially wanted to get on Toledo here, but man, you look at what the Rockets have been doing. They've won 11 straight games, 11 of their last 12 home games. They're doing well offensively. They're putting up, where is it right here? 84.7 points per game, which is just outstanding. That's second in the country. And they're making almost 50% of their shots on the season. They're shooting 48.6%. That's outrageous also. They've taken advantage of the free throws in their last three games. They've made over 84% of their free throws. They move the ball around well. And then you look at the other side. I know the Zips, they've won 10 of their last 12, but they've only won 5 of their last 9 road games. So they struggle a little bit on the road. And they've struggled offensively on the road, which is what worries me here for them. They're scoring less than 68 points per game while only making 40% of their shots on the road. And when we're talking about them doing that against an Akron team that's shooting damn near 50%, and putting up all those points, that's what kept me off, Toledo team. That's what kept me off Akron here. Akron also, their ball movement isn't that good. What they do is they rebound the ball well. And I don't know. This is a tough spot for me. I can't get on Akron on the road here, especially after they lost at home to this Toledo team just a little bit ago, 74-84. Toledo's rolling right now. Like I said, I leaned Akron when I first looked at it, but as I broke into this, it would be Toledo or pass, and I'm just going to pass on this one.
Yeah, I do not want to. I imagine. I mean, this is going to help us, I believe, the reason why I want to cap for the conference tournament, but I think there's an angry Akron group. Pete, you're going to stay off any pregame action for this?
Yeah, definitely. Interesting game, but nothing for me.
Well, let's move on to the other two top teams in the MAC. 7 p.m. Eastern, Kent State Golden Flashes. Did I give the cash? Yes, I did, of course. Kent State Golden Flashes 22-5, 12-2 in the MAC. At Ball State Cardinals 19-8, 10-4 in the MAC. We're in Muncie for this one. Let's take a look at what we are dealing with line history-wise for this one. Kent State, Ball State. We have Kent State opening up as a 2.5-point road favorite, moving to 3.5. A 1-point move towards Kent State at Pinnacle. Let's see what BetOnline did. BetOnline opened this up at 2.5, and it's at 3.5 as well. So same deal there. Totals wise, this total opened up at 141.5 and has dropped a 0.5 point to 141. Thank you, Milsey. Thank you, Milsey. I'll take that. I never thought that Mac McClung would be the confidence building comment that it has now become. But Big Tits McClung, dunk champion. Ball State Cardinals here had their 6-game winning streak snapped in a 78-68 loss at Western Michigan Saturday as 7.5-point favorites. Ball State lost badly, 86-65 at Kent State back on January 20th as 8-point dogs. 2,445 tickets in. 31% of the tickets are on Ball State and 52% of the cash, but the market's moving towards Kent State. 23% of tickets and 43% of cash on the under. Kent State comes in off their 4th straight win, an 81-54 beatdown of Eastern Michigan at home on Friday's 18.5-point favorites. Pistol Pete Loshak, any interest here in the second big MAC game tonight?
Not really. I did look at this, but again, live or halftime betting maybe, but pregame nothing.
Dabby Cab, Kent State, Ball State.
So this is another, offense-defense game here. Kent State, they're only allowing 63.6 points per game. That's 34th in the nation. They're holding opponents to only a 39.6 field goal percentage. That's 15th. And a 3-point percentage of only 31.3%, which is 54th.
Jesus, what the hell was that?
Was that a car crash?
It was either a panther in Pete's house but he has okay, let's just stay focused here though.
I was 90% sure a car just crashed into his house.
I thought he was attacked by a panther or a cheetah. So we'll find out what happened here shortly.
Okay. Yeah. Man, this is a tough one because you said it off the top, Jimmy. I mean, Ball State lost by 21 points in their first game. So why do I kind of want to take Ball State plus 4.5 here? I don't know. When you look at what Ball State's been doing, they're 6-1 straight up, 4-3 ATS. They're 11 games. And I know Kent State's also been playing well on the road. Kent State's only 2 losses in conference on the road are against. Where did I say that? Kent State's only I don't have their losses. I should have typed that in. My bad. But Kent State's only they've been playing well on the road. This is almost like a line play for me where it's just like the fact that this line's so small, I'm leaning heavy towards Ball State here, but I have not bet this one.
I've never seen Pete laughing like this. I've never seen this in my life.
I'm reading the comments. It's funny as hell. Sorry. I couldn't keep it together. I was going to try to make a deadpan straight face joke, but the comments were too funny. I couldn't keep it together.
Actually, maybe you shouldn't tell us. Why don't you lie to us about what the sound
is? Just some fucking guy tried to break into my house with a fucking panther or something. I think it was a panther. And I was like, yeah, get the fuck out of my house. I chased him away, waved my gun around, and he ran away. But yeah, it was
conceal and carry permit, right?
He's got like a panther as a pet, and he breaks into people's houses. Like, fuck you.
God.
It's cool.
Yeah, fuck you. I get it. Here we have what I would say would be some bigger, sharper bets on Ball State, but why would the line be moving towards Kent State? Pete?
You're asking me. That's how I read the
tear in his eye, Jimmy. He's got a tear in his eye. He's been laughing so hard.
No, I don't know. This Ball State game, again, live or second half, but
fucking jerk off in his pet panther. I get it. It's Brooklyn, man. Brooklyn, man. Okay. So Pete will be live betting this. That was a scary sound, though.
Oh, man. Now I know why they can't keep it together on like Saturday Night Live and shit when they start laughing. All right, I'm good.
All right, so we just broke down back-to-back MAC games with the best 4 teams in the conference playing and made 0 moves.
Sorry.
All right. Okay. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the Big East. 8:30 p.m. Eastern, number 10 ranked Marquette Golden Eagles, 21-6, 13-3 in conference. At number 19, Creighton Blue Jays, 18-9, 12-4 in conference. We're in Omaha, Nebraska for this one. Let's take a look at the line history here for Marquette Creighton. We have Marquette opening up at +5, and that's where they are right now at Penny. So no movement there. Let's see if BetOnline did anything. BetOnline opened this up at +4.5, and they moved Marquette to +5.5. So there has been a 1-point move towards Creighton at Bet Online. Totals wise, it's opened up at 147.5 and has dropped to 146. A 1.5 drop. BJ says all over Creighton. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this one. Slight, like a sliver of line value on Marquette. 11,922 tickets in. 53% of the tickets on Creighton and 83% of the cash. And a point move at Bet Online, but no movement at Penny. Strange that Penny would not move it. 57% of tickets on the over and 98% of cash on the over. So a lot of money on the over. That's dropped a point. So very confusing market analysis there. Marquette comes in off its second straight win, 69-68 at home over Xavier on Wednesday as 7-point favorites. This, of all the teams we've talked about, they have the most rest of any squad that we've talked about today. They won by a point at home. They shot just 38.2% from the field, and even worse from three, 22.7% from three. Creighton bounced back from its 94-86 double overtime loss at Providence by winning at St. John's 77-67 on Saturday, 6.5-point favorites. They lost 69-58 at Marquette as 3.5-point dogs, but that was way back on December 16th. Pistol Pete Loshak safe from the Panther attack. The floor is yours. Marquette, Creighton.
Yeah, this one I did look at. Marquette is a very dangerous team. I've been talking about Shaka Smart coach teams for a long time. When he went to Texas, I was like, that's not a good spot to bet on his teams. Marquette is a good spot. So I don't like betting against them, but Creighton is obviously getting the love. I looked at this, no opinion. Again, live or second half bets, maybe. Pre-game, I have nothing as of right now.
Good has your back, though. He's in East New York. He says if any more Panther problems, he knows just how to handle that. Dabby Cab, Big East action here. It seems like sharp money's on Creighton, but Penny not moving Creighton. And by the way, you have been given greetings from Honduras from Resisting It All. Giving a shout out to Dabby Cab right there.
Man, shout out to him. He's out there helping build homes and stuff for people. He's doing some awesome work, man. Great guy right there.
Sweet. And sweet. Take it away here for us, Dabby Cab, Marquette, Creighton.
All right. Creighton here, and when you talked about the last game they played, Creighton wasn't healthy. Earlier in the year, a lot of their losses came when this team wasn't healthy, and they've gotten healthy. Since they've been healthy, this team's been surging as of late. They've won 9 of their last 10 games, 18-9 on the season, but 12-4 in the Big East play. They're one game behind Marquette, which is something that's important to talk about here because this is a game for first place. They win this game, they're tied for first place. So that's huge right there. First place is on the line in the Big East. And both these teams are just outstanding on the offensive end. But here at home, I'm going to give the edge to Creighton. 1, they're on fire right now. 2, they don't lose at home. They've only lost 1 time at home. And they have the better defense. So I think with those things coming into it, I think they'll slow down Marquette just enough to be able to take this one at home, get their revenge spot. I know 5.5 is quite a few points, but I still think they can cover it. I like Creighton here.
It moved back. It moved back to 5. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's moved back to 5. So it opened up at 5. It moved to 5.5. So this is back to Pinnacle. So we know Bet Online's moved it from 4.5 to 5.5. But here Pinnacle, it opened up at 5, and then within 12 minutes it was at 5.5, and then this morning at 8:45 it came back to 5. Does that concern you at all, Pete? Does that concern you at all that Pinnacle's not, with all the big bets coming in on Creighton, that Pinnacle's not moving it or not even pushing juice towards Creighton?
Yeah, I mean, it tells me that, which makes sense to me, that it's it's not necessarily sharp action, that the line is that they're expecting money back on Marquette if they move it. Yeah, it's a tough game. I mean, Creighton. The 2 teams I don't want to bet against. Dabby Cab was right about Creighton when they got healthy, and Marquette as a dog in any situation is a scary thing to bet against. So yeah, I'm off this game. I'm totally off it.
And what is keeping you off betting Creighton, Cab?
I kind of what Pete just touched on. I mean, this team puts up 8.7 points per game, and as a dog, I don't, with an offense like that, Creighton catching points, or Marquette catching points. I could see Creighton winning this game by 2-3 points, and then I'd lose on the spread. So that's just, that's here though, guys. Just so everybody knows, I think I might have 7 bets at the end of this today. So I'm gonna have a pretty full card for myself.
I'm gonna have to stay off of Creighton.
Are you leaning Creighton, Jimmy?
Yeah, but what if I stay off of Creighton full game, but move on them first half instead? That's what I will do. I'm going to move on Creighton first half. That way I expect to play well. It could be a close game late. That is what I expect. Sorry, guys, saying that this is a choppy feed that we have right now. I don't realize that it's coming through. Oh, it is a little choppy. Okay, we apologize for that. Hopefully YouTube will work itself out. It says something wrong with connection. But we're going to keep rolling as if everything is fine. But we apologize that it's choppy. Hopefully it gets right. Okay, let's roll on to the next spot on the board. Big 12 action. And we have 2 games left that we'll be breaking down here on our show. 9 p.m. Eastern, number 23 ranked Iowa State Cyclones, 17-9, 8-6 in the Big 12. At the number 8 ranked Texas Longhorns, 21-6, 10-4 in the Big 12. We're at the Moody Center in Austin, Texas. Remember, we have 2 games left here, and if we get to 150 likes, we will give out 2 $50 gifts from Jeff Slaughter on the Wheel of Glory. If you are a member and you write Pubapalooza 2023, there is the Wheel of Glory. And this is Pete's first go-around with the Wheel of Glory. Troy Torrance says, I like Texas to smash the Clones tonight. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. We have Texas opening up at -7.5 at -108 at Pinnacle. It dropped to 7 for a little bit, but it's back at 7.5. Go over to Bet Online. Bet Online opened this up at 8, and it's dropped to 7.5. Totals wise, opened up at 136.5. It got down to 135.5 right away, but it's back at 136.5 where it opened. Take a look at the cash flow for this one. Iowa State, Texas. We have some line value, maybe 20% line value on Iowa State, but 7,642 tickets. 61% of the tickets and 90% of the cash is on Texas. Then 67% of the tickets, 85% of the cash on the over. And we've seen it come back to where it opened. Take it away. Oh, sorry. Iowa State comes in off its 3rd loss in 4 games, 61-55 at Kansas State. Saturday is 4-point dogs. Texas comes in off its 2nd win in 3 games, an underwhelming 85-83 victory at home over Oklahoma on Saturday as 10.5-point favorites. They lost at Iowa State 78-67 as 2.5-point dogs back on January 17th. Is there Rebenga here, Pete? Take it away. Iowa State, Texas.
This is really tough. Something was telling me, well, my numbers like the first half under a little bit, but I don't like that. Iowa State obviously is in bad ATS. Texas really struggling ATS as well. It's a big line. I don't know. If you gave me your free play, I guess I'd take Texas. I guess I'd lean under. Iowa State team total under. Definitely nothing pregame for me though, and it also, we'll see what happens at the half, but I'd be surprised if I have anything at the half as well. But unless the first half is very high scoring, then maybe I take a second half under, but nothing for me first half. Nothing for me pregame.
Come on, Polo, we love you, buddy. Iowa State, Texas. Do we, Cab, trust Texas to show something after that extremely underwhelming performance and dealing with the team that they just lost to by 11 at home? Do we think that Texas can at least have a good first half here?
I do like Texas in the first half here. That actually is where I would be looking with Texas here. But Pete did touch on it. I know Texas is 21-6 this year. They're one of the better teams, but they're only 11-16 against the spread. So they've been letting us down there. Whereas Iowa State on the other side, 14-12 against the spread this year. But the thing is you bet Iowa State at home. You don't bet Iowa State on the road. I'm pretty sure most people know that by this point. Texas is 10-4 coming into this in conference, and they're tied with Kansas for the top record. So that's always important to touch on because, okay, what is Texas playing for? Revenge. Yeah, they're playing for revenge. And they're also playing for first place in the fucking conference, not just the conference, the Big 12 conference, which is huge. So there is no reason there should be a lack of momentum behind Texas here in this game, especially in the first half. So, yeah, I can definitely support that one with you there on that, Jimmy.
So is this something that you might add to your card, or you just?
Yeah. Texas first half is something I might add to my card.
For Texas first half,
What are you getting on the line? 3.5, or is it?
Well, if I was to bet it right now, it'd be a -4. But I bet if I bet you we could find a 3.5 here. No, we can't. There are 4s across. So there's a 3.5 at 5 dimes at -115. But to give you an idea, Pinnacle is at 4.5 at -115. That means that's screaming to me, make this bet as soon as possible.
I'm on Texas first half with you right here. So you can get us what you think the best number is, and I'm there. 3.5, 4. It's
well, I'll give. Do you want the 3.5 at -115? I think that's worth 5 cents.
Yeah. At only
Okay,
115, I'll take that.
Okay, so cab, and that's available at 5 dimes right now. I'm going to be moving on Texas first half as well. That was just such an underwhelming performance, and we're dealing with Rebenga. I really like it. Rodney M is in for Pupapalooza 2023 for the Wheel of Glory. We have 36 more likes. We need 36 more likes. Pete, you're staying off of Iowa State, Texas for pregame action?
I mean, Texas first half makes a lot of sense, but I'm staying off.
Let's move on to the final game here on the board. Dana Delp saying DraftKings 3.5 -120. We'll let Dana Delp lead us into this one. But first, let's hear what Mike M has to say. He says, what about all the times you've heard a coach say there's just another game? Sometimes I think the pace of play will start out different than expected, deliberately trying to slow it down.
Man, I never had a coach tell me that my entire life. What the fuck?
Welcome, everybody. We picked 10 games. We picked 10 games in college basketball. Sometimes we add 11 or 12 if there's like a 2:00 game in the NEC or something like that we want to hammer. But we're going to keep tight to this 10-game thing and apologize for that. But also remember that every day you can just go to our video description and see exactly what's on the schedule. Let Dana Delp lead us into this. He told us about the DraftKings 3.5. Dana Delp's also doubling up here on the Michigan State Spartans. He's on them first half and full game. Let's talk about this spot. Number 17th ranked Indiana Hoosiers, 19-8, 10-6 in the Big Ten. At the Michigan State Spartans, 16-10, 8-7 in conference. We're in East Lansing for this one. Let's take a look at the line history here for this Hoosiers Spartans spot. We have Michigan State opening up at -2 at Pinnacle. They're now -3. Let's see what they bet online. At bet online, they opened up at -2, and they're now -2.5. It just came back to 2.5. It was 3 for a while. It got up to 3.5. It was at 3.5, and it just came back to 2.5. So there's been some buyback on the Hoosiers. Oh, I didn't do the total. Let's quickly take a look at this total here. I've not moved on any totals as of yet. This total opened up at 135.5. It's gone up a point to 136.5. Cash flow wise for this one, we have line value on Michigan State about 33%. 11,566 tickets in. All of the big bets coming in on Michigan State. 55% of the tickets, 91% of the cash. Although it's gone back a point, so it hasn't been just full movement towards the Spartans. 47% of the tickets and 94% of cash on the under, and it's gone up a point. Lee Davis says Michigan State system play here. Indiana bounced back from a 64-62 loss at Northwestern by defeating Illinois at home 71-68 on Saturday as 6-point favorites. Michigan State had their 2-game winning streak snapped in an 84-72 loss at Michigan on Saturday night as 3-point dogs. It was the first Spartans game since the campus shooting. Michigan State lost 82-69 at Indiana back on January 22nd as 4.5-point dogs. Pete, Big Ten action, last game on our show, Indiana, Michigan State.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan State has Michigan State written all over it. Obviously, off the Michigan loss and all the other stuff that's going on there, it seems to have Michigan State written all over it. Can't disagree with it. Haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, but can't disagree with that analysis.
Debbie Cab, what do you think here? Spartans at home at the Breslin Center.
Man, this is my type of spot though. It is what it is. Usually in a game where people are like, oh, this has, like Pete just said, this has Michigan State all over it. I don't know what it is about me, but I see points in the first half with the better team, and it interests me. And I do think Michigan State could pull it out by the end. But you talk about defensively. Defensively, these teams are two pretty evenly matched, and offensively, Michigan State's just been awful this year. They're putting up 68 points per game, 272nd in the country. Their field goal percentage a little above average, 198th in the country. But yeah, this team offensively has just struggled to find where they're going to come from. And when you look at Indiana is one of the most imposing teams on offense in the country. Field goal percentage is sixth at 49.2%. They're putting up 75.8 points per game, which is good for 81st. Their 3-point percentage, the one thing that Michigan State does do good on offense is shoot threes. And Indiana still does that better, 22nd in the country, shooting 38%. There's no reason why Indiana shouldn't win this on the boards. Obviously, Trace Jackson Davis is the best player on the court with Indiana. So all this makes me like Indiana plus the 1.5 in the first half.
So the first game back for the men, I believe the women have played at the Breslin Center, but the first game back for the men after the shooting, you don't think that the whole of East Lansing is, Look,
here's the thing. When these things happen, like outside factors, I've seen people cap that like you're doing right now and have immense success with it. I don't do that. I cap more about the matchups, the players, and I get it. And it's something that I should be taking into account. But I'm just saying, for me personally, I don't really think about that. It's because it's hard to quantify, right? It's hard to quantify. Yeah, we could say Michigan State should want to win because of the shooting. They should be pumped up. But it's like, okay, how much does wanting to win do? I mean, I don't know. So that's not something I take into account, I guess. And I know I probably should, and some people probably don't like that, but it's just not what I put into my cap.
I'm thinking that that they're going to be playing really, really hard tonight. Their arrested group, I know they played on Saturday, but that was their first game in a week or more. And now, I mean, there's only one thing happening in East Lansing tonight. That's they're going to try to lift up the campus and have a victory here. I want Michigan. I'm gonna move on Michigan State full game here. I think the price is right. I think there's something bigger at play here in some of these spots, and it's always tricky capping, death. See, Mike M says a lot of emotional baggage scare. I think this is a spot where take everybody's pain away for a little bit and their anger and all that. So I am going to move on Michigan State here. Are you moving on Indiana first half, Cab?
I'll stay off for right now.
Okay. I am going to move on Michigan State first half. All right. I like my card. Shaping up pretty nice.
One last
you
thing.
Can add that. You can add me on that one too as well, Jimmy the Bag. I'm going to take where's the line? Where's the line? I'm just going to take the money line minus 150. Current line at Will Hill. That's a little bit better than other places. Michigan State up. Oh no, sorry, it's just moved to 160 and down to 2.5. All right, yeah, I'll take. Well, these lines are weird. All right, I'll take Michigan State minus 2.5, minus 110.
Minus 2.5 at minus 110. I'm going to take them full game as well. Lock that in. All right, and Justin McElvey just entered himself into our $50 giveaway to 2 members for Pubapalooza 2023. That's what you have to write in here. Razor Sharp Picks has handed out his Fairgrounds Pick 5. I think he picked up a cool $10K on a couple tickets last week. So if you're not rolling with Razor, get in. And our big next horse show is coming up on Saturday here. And there you have it. Let's review all action because Cabby is possibly going to add something here. Cabby,
I was going to add on a few things as well.
Perfect. So who wants to fire first, and I'll start writing.
Well, I'll fire first. And then see if Dabby Cab agrees with me. First of all, let me see. Where are we? I didn't even see the line, but Texas Tech at Oklahoma. Oklahoma's been awful ATS for a while before their last two, even though they are off two nice covers. Are those two covers, an indicative of a corner turn for Oklahoma, or are they going to revert back? I got to think Texas Tech first half at the very least is a decent play. What do you think?
I like that. I like that a lot. Oklahoma is one of my least favorite basketball teams. Their offense is just atrocious. And Texas Tech has been playing a little better lately. I think that's a good play.
Okay. And then let me see. What else was I thinking about? And I was thinking about I was hoping to get a better line when it opened. I was hoping for like 4.5 or 5 or something. But I was thinking about Pitt first half against Georgia Tech. That's what I was thinking about. I guess I'm going to have to take, -6 or something like that. We'll see what it is. And I think those were the only two games that I wanted to highlight: Texas Tech first half and Pitt first half.
And do you want to make those official right now? Should I line?
I want to hear what Dabby Cab has to say, and then I'll let you know.
Okay, Cab, what do you think about backing a Pitt of first half? I can also give you an idea of where we stand for the line, or for the cash flow here, I should say. Cash flow in the Pitt game. There's 4,687 tickets, and Georgia Tech is a public dog. 60% of the tickets, 60% of cash on Georgia Tech, 85% of tickets, 81% of cash on the over. And for your Texas Tech spot, we have Oklahoma being given 25% line value from Sports Insights. 31% of the tickets and 47% of the cash is on Oklahoma, and 66% of tickets, 70% cash on the under. So we heard about your thoughts on Texas Tech first half. What do you think about Pittsburgh first half at home to Georgia Tech, Cab?
Yeah, I like it. I wouldn't go full game with Pitt here. I'd go first half. I think they're easily up by 10 points, 10 or 12 points at half for repeat, and then I could see it being like an 8-point game by the end of it, which is why I wouldn't go full game. I like Pitt here first half. Georgia Tech coming off back-to-back wins. It's not sustainable for this team. They're not just going to keep rolling. And Pittsburgh coming off that loss to Virginia Tech, there's no reason why they shouldn't be coming out hungry right now, because this Pitt team shocked us all. And right now, even after losing to Virginia Tech, they still won 4 of their last 5, and I think this is a great bounce-back spot for Pittsburgh.
All right, Pete, you going to pull the trigger? You want to hear what Cab's additions are?
I want to hear what Cab's additions are.
Cab, take it away. What would you like to add to your card before we do a review of all the games?
So one of them, and my bad, I should have sent this to you. One of them that I bet that we actually didn't get to talk about is I did take Utah State -4.5. I got it yesterday. I think it's up to 5 now, but I took Utah State against Wyoming. And if you want me to talk about it really quick, just so I can say,
Sure.
Wyoming, playing on the road has not spelled doom for Utah State, and playing at home doesn't matter for this Wyoming team. The Aggies offense is just dangerous, and the Cowboys defense is putrid. So you got a really good offense going against a bad defense. Last time they played, Utah State shot 50% from the field, drained 44.4% of their threes. They out-rebounded Wyoming 43-34. I don't expect them to shoot as well again, but I think if they even shoot close to that and out-rebound them again, I think 4.5, even 5 or 5.5, whatever it is now, I think that's a small line. So I got Utah State full game -4.5 against Wyoming.
All right, that is locked in for you. Utah State -4.5. Was that regular VIG -110?
Yep.
Okay, cool. What else are you adding, Cabby?
Okay, so I got Miami and Baylor. And then I added Texas with you. So I've got Miami first half +1.5. I've got Baylor on the money line. I've got Utah State -4.5. And then I've got Texas in the first half. What I think I'm going to do here, and I hate to do this to go against everyone, but I'm going to add the Miami full game at plus money.
Okay, Miami full game money line.
And then I think I'm going to keep it there at those 5.
All right, let's take a look at what you are getting for full game money line. Let me move over to full game. Here we go.
Actually, Jimmy, can you still get me 3 points on that? Is there a 3 available anywhere? +3? No,
the
there's
highest,
not, is there?
The highest money line is +137, and the best spread for Miami is +3 at -105 at 5 dimes. It's -114 and -115 at Bookmaker and Pinnacle.
If I can get the +3 at regular juice, I'll take that.
All right, you have got it. So we are going heads up on that one. Miami.
Sorry, I don't like going heads up.
No, there's nothing. Don't never need to apologize for that, man. That's what makes this part of the fun, man. It's part of the fun. Dana Dub wants to know what the line movement is for Utah State, and DC Capper says, "How do you like Youngstown State Robert Morris under 144.5?" I have not studied the Robert Morris spot, so it's just no, I can't give you a fair estimation, but I can tell you that 73% of the tickets in Youngstown Robert Morris, and 89% of cash are on the over in that one. So, there. And then for the Utah State line movement from Dana, we have 2,827 tickets in. The big bets are all over Wyoming. So Wyoming's been given 25% line value. They only have 16% of the tickets, but 82% of the cash is in on Wyoming here. Let's take a look at this line history. So that line history, so they've opened up at Pinnacle, they opened up at +5.5. Now they're at +6. It just moved to 6 at 9:30 in the morning. So it doesn't seem like the books are too concerned about that money on Utah State, on Wyoming, And then 38% of tickets, 78% cash on the over. Pete, we've heard from Dabby Cab. We're going to review all of the action and then hear if you want to make those two spots official.
Yes, I'll just make. I'm going to hold off on Texas Tech for now. Just Pittsburgh. I'll take the Pinnacle line. First half -6.5 -115. Pinnacle line. Pittsburgh. First half -6.5 -115.
All right. And Troy Torrance says books are welcoming that Wyoming money with open arms. It does seem that way. Yeah. All right, let's review all NCAA. Actually, let's review all action here on the show and then put a bow on this. So in NHL, Pete is on the Blues first period at +203. He's on the Habs first period at +206. Anaheim, Tampa stayed off. Pete's on the Capitals first period at -135. I'm on the Red Wings team total over 3 at +114 and the Red Wings money line +135. During the show, there was a big move towards the Washington Capitals. Pete's on the Leafs first period at -135. I'm on the under 6 at -110 in LA Kings and Minnesota Wild. Pete's on the Predators -1 at +106. Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play today is also on the Predators. And then I'm on the Oilers -1.5. As so is Pete. We're both on the Oilers puck line. I really do believe it shapes up absolutely perfectly for a smash and grab for Edmonton. Let's take a look at college basketball. I have question marks on Nova first half. I don't think I need to do it at this point, but that's my spot. Alec, who joined us for the Super Bowl, he's with you on the Hurricanes. He's on the Hurricanes +2.5. Dabby Cab. He's on Tennessee money line at +110. Western Michigan, Eastern Michigan under 154. Kansas State money line at +115. And he's also on the Hoosiers full game at +3.5. Cab is on Baylor first half -111. And you joined him, Pete. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you got -115 because Cab tweeted that out earlier. DC Capper is on Baylor -1.5 full game. And DC Capper, you have Youngstown State Robert Morris here, but I don't know what you've done with it. I know it's a 4% play. What have you done? I guess maybe you probably hinted at that. You're on the under 144. Okay, my bad. I'm going to be on Texas A&M full game. Pete, you're on Texas A&M -1.5 and -116 full game. Cab's on Miami first half +1.5 -110 full game +3 -105. I'm going to be on Virginia Tech full game. I'm going to be on Missouri. Pete's on Missouri first half -2 at -110 and full game money line at -165. Akron, Toledo, and Kent State. Ball State, we stayed off. It's too bad. But I'm going to be on Creighton first half. Cabs on Texas first half -3.5 -115. I'm going to be on same bet, but I'm going to take -4 -110. I'm on Michigan State -2.5 full game. I haven't bet it yet, but I will. Pistol Pete Loshak on the same spot. And then the additions, Cab had added Utah State -4.5 -110 and Pitt first half -6.5 -115. And you tweeted out the Utah State spot, Cab?
Yeah, that was in my tweet. Utah State was in my state. When I say added it, it's just because it wasn't on our games that we talked about.
I feel you.
I didn't add Pitt though. That was Pete.
Yes, I know. I got that. Yeah, Pete.
Oh,
Pete,
okay, just double check. Just
yeah, yeah. There you have it. That is our show for today. Thank you guys so much. We have nothing without you guys. But if we get to 150 likes, looks like we're not going to make it. Looks like we're not going to make it. So $100 up for grabs today. Maybe we can see if Slaughter can carry that over to our show tomorrow. But we're not going to be able to give out the $100 here. We have Pubapalooza in 5 weeks. A bunch of us at Pub got to see a bunch of clips from Pubapalooza 1 over the last 24 hours. And it just made me so excited for Pubapalooza 2. And I'm, so excited. So excited about the trip. Gokster and I get in on Thursday. We're discussing what we're going to be doing now on Thursday night, but I'll be at the bar for sure. You can count on that. And that is our show. Thank you guys. Big Luch, Real Deal Prime, Dana Delp, DC Capper, Shogun, Soup, Mike M, Robert Franklin, Rick J, Troy Torrance, Alfred. Thank you guys. Regis Austin, Von Polo, Rick J, Razor Sharp Picks, Leonard Porch Jr., Aquinimus, The Fowlish Hound, Lee Davis, Rob Free, Nathan Flores, Juan Ruiz, Rocco Rogers, Grit and Grind. Welcome, everybody. Mally Mal, Justin McElvey, Mark Nick. Thank you guys so much. The AOD, Nasty Nate. Thank you guys for your support. Millsy, Nunya. We love you guys, and thank you. Thank you very, very much. Pete, we're going to have actually Dabby Cab will close tomorrow's show. So let's have Pete close today's show. Dabby Cab, any last words here for the Cappers supporting the show, my man?
Oh, man. I love you guys out there in the chat, man. And I can't fucking wait for Pubapalooza. I'm so pumped to get down there and get to hang out with all you guys, man. It's going to be such a good time. So make sure and get there if you can, because we're going to have a lot of fucking fun.
Oh, man, I'm so excited. Pete, now that you're safe from that Panther attack and we have nothing to worry about, right? The Panther's not in your apartment, right? You didn't get in. He's not like in your bedroom or anything.
No. I chased that guy out. He's just a fucking joker, crackhead. Okay. That's not a real problem. He's got a fucking Panther hanging out. It's fucking crazy. Whack jobs, wacky pets. Yeah. I'm just gonna tail Dabby Cab on the closeout to this show. Everything you just said, complete tail on my part. Blind tail of Dabby Cab on that one.
Hey, love it.